Hello,
I think so.
everyone. Welcome to Live from the Apocalypse. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Um, we are happy to be here. Trying out a couple of new things tonight, so things are a little scattered at the moment, but yeah, we're gonna have a good time tonight. So here at Live from the Apocalypse, here's the elevator pitch. We play tabletop games for charity and to benefit nonprofit organizations, charitable causes, things like that. And that is true. We've all been at the mercy of public transportation. It can be cruel and merciless. We are getting a lot of ambient noise. Can y'all go ahead and mute? Thank you. So the elevator pitch. We are live from the apocalypse. We play tabletop games for charitable causes and mutual aid organizations. We ask that if you like what you see here, instead of donating bits or subscribing to our channel or things like that you would normally do here on twitch.tv, you instead give any of that money, $5, $1, $20, however much you're able to the organizations that we are platforming. So Nephilim currently benefits Planned Parenthood. So if at any point during the stream you like what you see here and you want to give, just hit !PP donate. Yes, it is funny. Yes, it is the real link, and that will call up the donate. And you can give that way. It'll trigger our cute little alert thing. It's all fun. We play games. You know the drill. I guess that's pretty much everything. Donate if you can. If you can't, if you're not interested in it, that's totally fine. Just hang out, watch what we're doing here, and hopefully you'll like it. I think that's pretty much all of the housekeeping we have to do tonight. So with that being said, we'll just get right back into our game, picking up right where we left off. The crew of the Nephilim has been going through some stuff recently, dealing with a lot of changes and new situations in their lives. Perhaps none more so, and I will take this opportunity to go around the table, talk about our cast of characters a little bit, but perhaps none more so than Maeve Delaney, the girl from Mars, who has served as the Nephilim's mechanic and de facto medic pretty much her entire adult life. Recently, she was deceased, briefly, but she got better, so that's all well and good. Moving on to around the table in my screen. Next up, we have Tayo, who is playing the recently christened 201915-R, or perhaps not christened, but started going by their designation instead of the assumed identity that they had been operating under for the exact length of time that they have been on the Nephilim undercover. So 201915-R is a infiltrator type character. They were part of an organization called the Shinshoku, who were sort of the cultural guardians of... I'm just like, fine now. There was like 2 seconds where I was echoing through Dan's audio. We'll figure all this stuff out. I have no idea what's going on. Like I said, we tried a lot of new stuff. It's a bumpy ride. Thanks for bearing with us. You're also muted. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, that doesn't make any sense. So circling back to where I left off, that's 201915-R. 20 works. We are very, very good at this. Clearly, we are professionals, as you can probably tell. Moving right around the table, Ellis Red Eye Maldonado is the Hound, a former bounty hunter, union buster type person who found some level of peace as a member of the crew of the Nephilim. But recently, with the disappearance of Grace Miller, the captain of the Nephilim, has sort of fallen back into some old patterns that have been somewhat concerning for some of the other members of the crew. And I'm sure it's fine. It's all fine. And last,
it's me. I'm the members of the crew. Everyone else is on board with it.
That's putting it strongly, I think. And last but certainly not least, we have Della, who is playing Jaxper Sim, the Tempest. Jaxper is a former, medical experiment. There's really no other way to phrase it. He's a lot older than he looks. He's got some hormonal imbalances, kind of a quick temper, and is full of nanobots. So yeah, that's our colorful cast of characters.
Way more full of nanobots now than I was when I started, actually, which is concerning.
Yeah, that's funny how that works out.
Just plumb full of nanobots.
Just straight full of nanobots.
Straight full of them.
Chock full of bots. Okay. And yeah, that's our cast of characters. That's our crew. So moving right along.
Yeah, we're echoing real bad through Dan's mic.
How?
I don't know, but yours is the
How are
same.
you
don't know,
going
dude.
through my microphone?
So sorry.
But it's definitely yours.
Yeah, something is clearly.
This is the only place you're coming through on mine. Is like literally, I don't even have any speakers or anything on.
I know, and yet
It is this microphone, and this headset going into here.
I don't
This
know.
isn't giving any sound.
It wasn't doing this at all
Shenanigans.
before. I mean, that does explain why your captions are picking all of us up, but
Right, but I'm not hearing anyone twice.
yeah.
Okay.
Let me see if I can fix it this way. I can't. I'm not going to be able to. I have no idea.
I don't know either. Is everyone still echoing through me?
Yes. Well, I just switched your input to your webcam, and now it's not happening anymore.
Cool. Should I try a different browser, maybe?
Or what are you doing it in Firefox?
Yeah.
Okay, it
Maybe
does hate
super
Firefox.
unhappy. Well, that would be an explanation. Hold
You
on.
could try it in Chrome. But look, we didn't shift places. Yeah.
Yay! At least there's that.
At
So
least
fancy.
it's all good. How's everybody doing out there in Twitch.tv land? How's your day? My day was pretty good. Very relaxing until this.
Gotta get your blood pressure up at least once a day to make sure you're still alive.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry you're having a bad day, Queen Dishonest.
Yeah, dishonest. I am.
That's no good.
Sorry, dishonest.
Better?
Well, yeah, but maybe when I turn on echo cancellation. Oh yeah, dude, it was 100% Firefox. You have like 6 other options under your microphones now, and your speakers are showing up.
Yeah! Maybe I can go back to my other setup.
Maybe it's working now.
Whatever, who cares? I'm gonna stop fucking with it.
I like that it picked up what you said as maybe I can go back to my house. Like you're just gonna
Maybe I
leave.
can go home, as opposed to this studio that I've set up.
Yes, but it's working now, and that's a great thing that we love to see.
Yeah! Why does everything hate Firefox except for me?
I don't know. I prefer Firefox as well.
I also
And yeah, it's this is
Because
being.
guess what? Google doesn't let you do any of the anti-privacy stuff because Google wants all your data.
It's true. They do love that data. Nom 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 nom. They just love gobbling up your data. Tayo, are you also in Chrome? Is that, or are you in Firefox or Chrome? Okay, well then I can't explain your weird hissy noise, but it's filtered out
Who
for the
knows?
audience. Yeah, but it's not a big deal. You're fine. So
Apparently I can use NVIDIA Broadcast now, which that's cool.
that is where your audio is coming from. Anyway, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this live tutorial of exactly how we set up all of our shit. Moving right along back into the game now. This is going to make for a really good VOD later. The crew, you all found yourself in San Antonio in the present future day, which more colloquially is known as San Antokyo, because of its association with the Takamagahara 2 platform. Did you guys not read the notes? This was all in the notes.
I wrote the notes.
No, I updated the notes in the Discord section under locations.
I read them.
All of this information.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, we all read our homework.
Good. It was all in the handouts.
I mean, I wrote them in the sense that, like, you and I procedurally generated them together.
That is largely true, yes. So San Antokyo, as it is called because of its association with the Takamagahara 2 orbital platform, there's a lot of cultural exchange that has taken place between the city in Texas and the orbital Japanese platform. So there are lots of these different elements that come into play throughout the city. We've seen some of them, particularly in the Shinto temple, where you all had a showdown with... we all had a showdown with some of 20's more violent fellows as he was trying to get free from their influence. Yes, the you now are faced with a new job, sort of, where Ellis was sort of voluntold that you would all be participating in a little bit of corporate espionage to stop the mega corporation Zone Beverages from taking over a section of San Antonio downtown, and thereby displacing the gang that Ellis used to be a part of. Lot to sum up. Also, Maeve died and was brought back to life, but the scan said she's fine, so it's all good.
Listen, we've all learned that death is meaningless and nothing but a pit stop, so it's fine. No one's been changed by that in any kind of philosophical, deep, existential way. Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Psychological impacts upon the crew or anyone else. It's fine. It's fine.
So,
look, life is about how many milkshakes you can drink. Don't
I'm gonna
worry about it beyond
time
that.
here back home on Earth. Just saying.
As we've established, yeah, it's all about the milkshakes. So now, what are you all gonna do? What's your next move? When we ended, pretty much you were able to sort of just return to your apartments.
Where's the nearest vending machine that sells whatever that cola is?
Zone?
Yeah. Cola.
They're pretty much like all over the place. They are not particularly hard to find at all.
Okay, well, I'm going to, grab that like vendor contact info off one of them, and then also mechanically destroy that vending machine.
Interesting.
That's Alice's first concept in how one engages in corporate espionage is point of sale non-compliance.
Now, will you be involving the rest of the crew in these efforts?
That's up to everybody else. I'm literally like leaving the laundromat and then walking down the street towards where we're holed up. And if I see a Zone vending machine, I'm going to take the numbers off of it to see who the vendor is and trash the vending machine.
Very well. That sounds like a plan. Also, thank you so much for rating us, 321 TV. So nice to see you again. I was in your stream for a little bit earlier. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for stopping by again. We're just getting underway, so you didn't miss anything. So on your return back to the apartments, yeah, there's absolutely a Zone beverage machine. Are you? Is anybody gonna try to stop Ellis as he just sort of rushes forward to smash it to the ground?
I'm not in a hurry.
No, this is extreme. I mean, that's kind of my wheelhouse. He's sort of just joining me in my, hell yeah, man. You fucking shit up already? Sweet.
I'm going to see if it's not attached. I want to throw it on its face. And if it is attached, I want to very impotently try and throw it on its face.
I'm going to say it is attached.
Hey, hey, 20? You want to check this thing for cameras?
Well, Ellis continues to just like rough it up very ineffectually. I'm not moving to like firepower or anything. I'm literally just like punching a Coke machine.
Are you uttering a string of Yosemite Sam expletives as you do so?
Yes, exactly. I am foghorn, leghorning the shit out of this right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Was it a smart device? Of course.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the
Smart
future.
machine.
It's the future. It's all smart devices.
All of them are now.
It's currently actually mining crypto for someone else in this area.
Crypto was outlawed years ago. Even that is too fucked up for
dystopian. It
too
sells
dystopian.
Zone Cola and NFTs of Coca-Cola products.
Yeah.
That's the only things that come
What
out
was
of this. It also
what was the
burns
NFT that
trees.
we're not allowed to mention on stream that Bedlam caused? I forget.
I don't remember.
Anyway.
But I did make a joke that we were going to ban the word NFT, and I'm not convinced we won't.
It sells photocopies of old Coca-Cola products with signatures on the back certifying that they're singular photocopies, not to be distributed.
20. Sure. Well, so the way that the zone machines work is it's a lot like those Coke machines that exist now, where you can. I swear to God, I think it's still echoing.
From me? How?
I don't know. It's not. We're gonna move along. It's very quiet. So the way that it works is it's very similar to the machines now, where you kind of like select the base soda and then you select the flavoring, and it just kind of mixes it right in front of you. The zone machines works very similar to that, except it cans it for you in real time and then dispenses that. So if you tip it over, it's probably just going to spill a lot of liquid out all over the floor. Also, it's attached to the wall, so you can't do that. So
no, I'm not trying to fight a man who fixes a soda machine. First of all, we've had good experience with them in the past. I'm just, bringing the anti-corporatism to the streets, as the kids say.
I've got a crazy fucking idea, guys. I've got a really fucking wild idea, and you guys are not going to like it. I know. I'm real fucking good at them. Remember the grenade? That was a great idea. What if we found out, we hacked into this thing and found out how much information it's dragging off of people and see if we can follow it back to a database. And then we go back to our very comfortable quarters and create a plan. Dope.
You can try if you want. Yeah, you can roll. I believe that is that with Slick. Oh no, I'm looking at the. Yeah. You're rolling roll 20. Yeah, roll 20.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see how that works out in stream.
Hey, okay. So that is a 6 plus your Slick. Well, so it does in roll 20, but it can't show that on the thing. Yep, there I am. It can't do it.
It's through Rouge now.
Are we sure?
I was seeing her little thingy light up. Nope. Still through Dan.
Yeah, I was going to say, I adjusted in my chair and my knee hit my desk. So you might have seen it light up just because I'm a professional and I hit the table that my microphone is resting on. So
I see.
I'll mute myself now.
Yes, good.
It's it's whatever. 10. Okay, 10 is good. Dan, you mind if I try something real quick? Okay. I just switched your output. Nope, I can still, very faintly, I can still hear myself. Oh wait, no, it didn't.
There's got to be crosstalk inside of this. That's what it has to be. It has to be that this has got crosstalk going on.
Yeah.
Or because it's not coming from the speaker here into this. It has to be somewhere else. So I'm going to mute myself while you guys do some hacking and cracking and see if I can split it again.
Okay,
Because
whatever.
now that I'm in Chrome, I have control over this, so I might be able to divide it.
We'll see what we can do. And cool. We are indeed playing to find out what happens. Dan could be the culprit. It's entirely possible. That's okay. We all heard your scream. It was good. It's found audio. Okay, so you are able to hack and or crack into the machine. You get to choose two. It's going to take a while to get in. You'll have to trigger an alarm or alert someone in order to get what you want, or you'll have to leave traces of your incursion behind that incriminate you. Also, before I forget about it, I should remind you about the drone that you planted on Marcus Pike and left to hack into his personal handheld. So there's that. Yeah, so that's what it's going to take, like 24 hours, I think we said. So like tomorrow you'll have access to that data, but you do not currently. I just wanted to say it before I forgot about it. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I think we're just going to interpret that very literally. I think the machines are set up to let off a very loud alarm when attempts are made to breach their security. So it just immediately starts, the screen starts flashing red, and it says in a very robotic voice, announcing it very loudly to the streets of San Antonio, emergency. My systems have been breached. Emergency. My systems have been breached.
I shoot it. Right?
We are playing to find out what happens.
Yeah.
What? Oh my god.
I mean, you didn't even have to roll to shoot it. It's a vending machine. I was just going to say you blow it up.
I'm just giving you details on how intensive that goes.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just gonna go.
I don't understand any decision making that has happened since we left the bar. I'm just.
Hey, listen, consequences are meaningless. All right. Fucking, I don't know.
I just don't know if that's the takeaway here.
I feel like that's a really, really bad takeaway, dude. That's
probably, right? Yeah.
Seriously.
Might be the takeaway that someone who's right? Maybe he's not processing this so good.
Huh. Oh no, Jaxper's like
I run too.
Yeah, okay. So what happens is Karis starts the hacking attempt. Karis you use your virtual interface, you breach the system security of the vending machine, and you are able to at least get like cursory access to the first level of zone information. Now, most of that is just like the schematics of the machine, the systems that keep it running. It is connected to like headquarters in a way, but that would like there's so much data. I think you end up kind of just grabbing what you can and running. And at the same time that it starts sending out this blaring alarm message to the general public gathered in the street, Ellis just sort of quick draws his pistol and just shoots the machine dead in the middle of its screen. And the voice says, "Emergency, my system," and then just kind of yep. And it starts smoke starts like pouring out of the inside of it.
Cheese it, gang.
And then I guess Ellis takes off running.
So we've just decided, fuck subtlety. Like, absolutely just...
I think I just went in hard on teenage vandalism. This doesn't need to be the end all of the plan.
Why bother with any of those things?
I mean, I'm the guy suggesting going and making a plan, so I feel like
we can go do that now. Run faster. Again, I want a very clear mental image of a grown man in a very worn duster coat, like short, like pocketing a pistol as he like hoofs it down the street away from a vending machine he just shot.
Okay.
I'm going to assume the rest of you take off running.
Yes.
Cool. You make it back to the campus with like little issue. There is the way that it normally works is with towns and cities that are left in on Earth in the wake of it being largely sort of abandoned to the whims of the Earth Coalition and the megacorporations. The megacorporation of each city sort of provides its own security force. Basically, they have the cops. And in cities where there are multiple megacorporations, which is not uncommon, then you never really know who you're going to get. San Antonio, rather, is in a sort of a weird position because they don't really have, as of yet, a resident megacorporation presence. They exist off of the tourist revenue generated by being attached to Takamagahara 2, and also having the Scrappers Union headquartered here. Which I know is a point we touch on a lot, but I just really want to hammer that home. So the authorities, such as they are in San Antonio, are essentially one of two things. There's like the local cops who are, they are paid by the city itself and sort of function just generally like modern day police departments. The other possibility is if it involves Takamagahara 2 business, you could end up dealing with PlatSec, which is shorthand for platform security, who are basically the law enforcement of Takamagahara.
Probably not in this case. We shot a vending machine. It's going to be all right.
And you were in a bad side of town. Ellis, you would know from experience being from San Antonio that like you don't really have much to worry about.
First time Ellis has shot a vending machine, to be honest.
And it's not like the San Antonio cops are not in Marcus Pike's pocket anyway.
Right. Now, that's going to be a fun report to get across on his desk in a couple hours. But
yeah,
regardless.
Is your plan not to just like go home, call Marcus Pike and say, "All right, I did it. I did espionage.
I've done it. I'm a spy. I'm the sneakiest motherfucker in the city. You'll never find me." This is why they call me Anti-Corpo Maldonado. Yeah.
For sure. You're just like, you wanted me to get rid of Zone? Well, I did.
I done it. Destroyed 1/57,000th of their local stock.
Yeah,
they'll never recover.
Once we're back at the room, Jaxper is going to sit down and okay. So
all right,
3 major entities. Yeah.
Where? What?
Shut up. Let me talk. We got 3 major corporate and non-corporate entities in play. We got Zone, who we want to fuck with, and we would like them to go away. We have Taka, who we do not like us, and we do not like either. And we have the Scrappers Union, for whom we work. So, Broseph Pike very much wants us to start some kind of corp war between Taka and Zone, which seems to me is probably not going to end up working out as quickly as he would like. So we could try that. Alternately, we can bring Scrappers Union into this and start some kind of 3-way war, or solidify some of the Scrappers Union contracts with Taka, and therefore solidifying Taka and Scrappers Union hold in San and Tokyo, and getting Zone the fuck out of here, thereby stabilizing the city a little bit further, and still probably fucking over Marcus Pike in the long term. But in the short term, we've done our job. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about that?
Have you been reading them pulp comics that I keep on the ship inventory? This feels like James Bond crossed with Booster Gold or some shit. I don't know what. I mean, I was just gonna
what was your
plan? Taka outfit and go blow up a bunch of Zone Cola trucks or something. I don't know. Just make it look like there's an actual hot turf war, and then I'm not against involving the Union, I guess. Although if there's a power vacuum going on, they're going to absorb much as they can. They're not really a very powerful entity. I mean, they're local, but they're not Takamagahara powerful.
If you're talking about terms of like military strength, no, definitely not.
I meant like wealth. Like they're not a corp that way.
I don't think that would fall under hacking and cracking. I think that would be a much larger undertaking. Yeah, that would be a pretty big move. And I think I would probably need the details of what exactly you were planning to make it look like, essentially.
Point the target to another,
Sure. Yeah. No, I totally get that. You have some of that, yeah. But I'm going to say this. I think that what you are describing is theoretically possible. However, I wouldn't say that maybe that is the best place to start. You do have this information from Zone that you haven't even gotten a chance to go through yet. I think what we need to figure out right now are what y'all's first steps are going to be. There's a lot of ideas being thrown around here, but if you're going to start with information gathering, then I just need to know what steps you're going to take to gather that information. So we'll break this down a little bit more like Blades in the Dark, for example, which is a game system that is built almost entirely around pulling jobs. So in Blades in the Dark, jobs happen in different phases. So you have a phase where like you are sort of gathering the information you need to pull off your job. And then there's the phase where you do the job itself. So just to avoid too many ideas being thrown around here, I think it'd be helpful to sort of break it down into that. So let's say that we're in the information gathering phase first, and go from there based on what you learn in that phase. So what are the avenues that you all would like to pursue, either together or separate from one another, to get information about Zone, about Takamagahara, and the way that they interact with one another? Or even information about Marcus Pike?
Yeah, I have information about Marcus Pike. I'm not too worried about that. My immediate thought with the vending machine dummery was to localize, kind of localize my information about Zone Cola. Because Ellis's thought is not as simple-minded as just like blow up a bunch of Zone Cola trucks. But it is to create a situation wherein said Taka agents are going to have to come down to start dealing with ground trouble, presumably around Zone Cola things, because whether it is people attacking Zone Cola facilities, trucks, machinery, etc., or Zone Cola employees, i.e. idiots in Zone Cola jackets, fighting local people, either way, Taka is going to want to come down and deal with that, and that's going to put their attention more on this issue. That's Ellis's plan. So, like, finding who the local people are, as far as Zone Cola goes, would be where he would want to start shit. Because his first thought with any, I need to prevent a corporation from being here, would be like, okay, let's start dealing with the people that are local. Like, let's find the most regional manager of Zone Cola and start causing him problems.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I think that is definitely a good place to start. Did you have an idea also, 20? Sure. Okay. Makes sense. And to be clear, the constabulary is like the elected sheriff of the city of San Antonio. Go ahead, Jaxper.
I want to use the information that we got from 20's hacking and cracking. I want to get into Zone's system if I can. Possibly, I'm probably going to need a physical link to this, so I'll need to find some kind of physical uplink. And I kind of want to unleash one of my brothers into their system.
Let's get stupid. Let's do it.
You say get stupid like it's going to be
relatively stupid. Dumber than bit.
Let's get relatively stupid, gang.
Let's get reckless.
Okay.
We've been very careful so far.
What is
pull those gloves off.
Maeve, you are still sort of in this weird, like everybody's just kind of going along with this this sort of like side hustle.
And I want to make very, very clear that I am, in fact, telling Maeve that I'm going to do this. I'm not leaving her out of shit anymore.
That's wise. She died last time you did that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, not to keep harping on it or anything, but
I want you back. Oh my God.
Exactly. What is Maeve? Does Maeve have her own plans? Are you going along with this, or are you like, you know what? I don't want to do this.
That's a valid opinion, I would say.
Right? We I don't think Maeve is really cut out for espionage, to be fair.
I mean,
we also do have leads on Grace local that we're still trying to track down.
I think what she's going to end up doing is she's going to probably try and take the other route. And we got all those like pictures and things of Grace was what we found in the storage locker.
Yeah, you do have all of that. It's a lot of like pictures. Some of them are older than others. That just sort of depict different individuals. Not all of them have grace in them with the people, but some of them do.
Yeah. So I think Maeve is probably going to go more that route and try to start figuring out possible leads for people to.
Yeah, to be clear, one of the reasons too why Ellis's like plan started 30 seconds later with "let's shoot a vending machine" is that one of my priorities is speed. Like, yeah, let's start a fucking Zone Cola fight like tonight. like if we can ram a Zone Cola truck into a Takahara like police station by dawn, I was like, no, that's perfect. That makes perfect sense. Like, absolutely.
So I want, if I can, and this is very much, I'm happy to apply my hooks to this and take minuses. If I can unleash one of my brothers into that system, Jaxper himself is going to go with Maeve to research stuff with Grace.
Okay.
So
it was a very similar situation where you were able to get some of the information off of Hugo's palm, like his handheld. Yeah. So yeah, you do have access to that too. Basically, what this all comes down to is that like you have a lot of information at your disposal, 20, but you have not started to go through any of it at all. You've got like data on the Scrappers Union, data on Zone. Remind me if there's more than that. There might be, but I think it's just those two right now. Okay, cool. Right. Pike was in there too. Okay, cool. So it's really just a question of like sitting down and going through that, which I imagine is that same sort of meditative state that you've done before when sort of like processing all of this stuff through your virtual interface. Okay. Combine your processing power.
yeah, I can do that. Oh yeah, we can hold hands. What if we held hands in the data processing center? Blue.
Ooh.
Nano blows.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, you two can definitely do that. So I'm going to say that if you want to get right down to it, that's going to be the rest of your night. And that'll be processing the data. Ellis, you're not pursuing anything on your own this evening, right?
Zone Cola trucking routes. Like, I'm going to see if I can find out who the vendor is for that machine, because it's, again, making assumptions on how contemporary things are sold. It's probably an independent contractor. So there's probably zone independent contractors somewhere around, like amateur sleuthing to find a local Zone Cola distribution plant.
Yeah.
But no, he's wizened and still afraid of pain, if not death enough, to not like try and blow up a local Zone Cola warehouse on his own. But that's...
Okay,
overload the flux capacitor inside of the Zone Cola warehouse so that it blows up. Like, we
20. You gotta pick one thing.
No, you got your own thing going on.
I'm
the
Tempest. Come on, guys.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. The people to their skills to their jobs. I'm not stealing a truck tonight. But the plan is to find somewhere where tonight. Tomorrow, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe we steal a truck tomorrow night. Maybe that happens.
Who knows? Who knows what we do to...
Maybe we plant a bunch of conspicuous Nest cameras with the word Takamagahara written on them poorly inside of the Zone warehouse.
Like the idea that you pulled this job off, but you're right. You're right. What was it? Takamaka Gahara?
Takamagahara.
Takamagahara.
Like poorly written, like Ellis forgets how to spell it halfway through. He's like, fuck. Shit. Yeah, because his hiragana is terrible.
Mhm.
Like,
the absolute most Bugs Bunny plan we possibly can.
yeah, literally, like shows up with like a clipboard and just a generic yellow vest and is like, I'm here to install the cameras.
Okay, so I think for your
That's true.
just like basic research that you are going to try to do tonight, I want you to roll to keep your cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so roll with Stalwart. And Maeve, you are not planning to pursue any of this evening, correct?
None of this weird nonsense. No.
Okay, cool.
I'm just doing my thing with trying to track down some of this. So it's out more intel on Grace based on these images. We
sounds good.
7, lucky number 7, and I'm going to take a stress because this is hard, fast work. Makes sense that like I'm rushing around to do this as opposed to taking my time.
Yeah, you hit the streets and you start trying to like gather information. You do find like the local zone warehouse, which has been here for way longer than the plans for zone to move its headquarters here. You know, this was basically just built to store the supplies for the various machines that are built around here, same as they would be in any other city on Earth. And so, Ellis just kind of like watches from across the street as there's this big chain-linked lot with a warehouse in the middle of it. Trucks lined up because it's pretty late. Trucks sort of lined up around the outside. With the zone logo painted on the side, just sort of waiting to go out. And you can see that there's like a one guard in the entrance house, just like looking at his handheld, not paying very close attention at all. You don't really see anybody else moving around on the inside, but you do see lights on inside the warehouse.
So this is a pretty again, this is just a question from relative perspective, but like, given population numbers and that we are in Santa and Tokyo, this is a pretty busy warehouse, even if it's not a very well-defended warehouse. Like I'm seeing a lot of like trucks picking up cola, right?
Well, they're not moving right now, but you do see the trucks. It is late enough that they're basically just parked, sitting there. Like maybe there are people out on a route right now, but currently you don't see anybody except the one person in the guardhouse.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yep.
Noted. And yeah, like mini stakeout, like probably hang out into the early morning hours and then head back to the
Okay. Very cool. Makes sense. So yeah, absolutely. You just kind of watch, and you do see a couple trucks come back. The gate opens. The people in the uniforms like lean out, talk to the guy in the guardhouse, and then he opens the gate. They drive on in. It looks very routine. Nothing suspicious or weird.
Standard 8-foot fence, a little bit of barbed wire.
Yeah,
big old warehouse.
Exactly. That's really all you see that night. Maeve, you are just kind of in your room and you're flipping through these photographs that you found in Grace's storage unit. You don't recognize anyone except for Rashawn Neville, which we established when you first found them. You did find a very similar photograph to the one that he showed you of the two of them standing together, and the story that Rashawn gave you was that Grace had been his bodyguard at one point. It's clear from this photograph that they were more than that. They were at very least friends. The picture he showed you was like a sort of a paparazzi shot of like Neville coming out of a club, Grace like at his side, but a little bit ahead of him, sort of clearing people out of the way as they like headed for a street. They were leaving a club. This photograph might even be from the same club. You don't know, but you can see the two of them sitting around a table. It was obviously not a selfie or anything taken from a third party, but it's basically just a shot of the two of them seated at a table inside an entertainment club of some kind. They both have drinks in front of them, and they're both like mid-laugh. Like Grace sort of has her like head thrown back and she's laughing really hard at something, and Neville is sort of like, he's got his like elbows resting on the table and like his head in his hands, but you can see that he's laughing as well. So it's just kind of a shot of like, somebody took this shot of them just laughing about something. Flipping through, there are just a lot of them, and they don't really seem to have anything in common, except I guess that they were, or you guess rather, that they were just memories Grace wanted to remember, or people Grace wanted to remember. But as you were flipping through them, you notice a strange like bulging in your skin on your arm, almost like something is sort of like under the layer of your skin and moving around under it. You sort of notice it on your right arm, this like slight bulging as something is like shifting around inside of you, and it just sort of like makes its way down towards your wrist, and then like stops, and then starts making its way back up, and then you kind of experience the same thing. You see a similar one start on your left arm, and it just sort of, you can feel it too. You can feel this sort of like sensation of something crawling around inside of you, and your hands start to shake, and you drop the photos to the ground, and you look back at your arms, and they're completely normal. They look fine.
Oh, I do not like that. Not at all.
That ain't mine.
Well, but we didn't shift.
Before you said that it like went away, essentially, I was gonna say Maeve was like 2 seconds away from finding Switchblade and like digging it out of her arm.
Yeah, just kind of like clear your head, and then it is gone.
I'm going to say though that I think she's definitely going to be like freaked out a little bit and like be looking at her hands and like again with the like sort of sensing how everything feels. She's already done the full scan and everything came back normal.
It did, and it feels pretty normal to you also. Like it feels, like nothing special. You kind of like move your wrists, test things. You sort of like feel your arms up and down, and yeah, they feel like arms.
I think she's going to she's now seen a couple different like auto docs.
Well, just the one.
They stole one, and then she was in the unregistered one in the back of the wash.
Yes.
So she's come across two now. A really good one and a really shitty one.
Fair.
But I think I want to have Maeve start a project to basically try to make almost like a knockoff auto doc for the Nephilim.
Okay.
She doesn't have any personal projects going on right now.
That is true.
So I think actually the first thing she's going to do is we stole the plans when we stole the auto doc, right? right? That was a thing we successfully did.
Yes,
we stole it. So Maeve is actually going to try to ping not Karis and
Okay.
with basically a, hey, I'm sure you've got the plans for that auto dock sitting around somewhere. Can you send those to me?
You are currently indisposed. Like, I think in the virtual space, you sort of see the message pop up, and then you kind of you're forced to disregard it.
Like so many of them, just a quick swipe of, I'll deal with this later.
Yeah, exactly. For the sake of it being interesting, I think I will say that because you and Jaxper are linked, Jaxper, you also see that notification sort of ping up over over 20's head, and then just kind of like get swiped to the side and disappear. One second, you are not showing up. It should have just pulled you back in if you used the same link to join. The same link that you clicked to join the call in the first place, the one in the channel with your name on it. Oh, fun. Okay, so it just started back up. No, yeah. It's not important. I was asking something else, but it's fine. I'm gonna add you with a different thing. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, it is because that's a different browser. But let's see here. I'll have
so much fun with technology.
Yeah, we'll see if this is what we stick with. It has not been the most cooperative this evening. I just need to get you roughly to the same size as the others. There we go. And there you are. Cool. You're back. And it should still be getting your audio. Do you mind talking? Yes. Yep. You're good. So you should be showing back up now. So go ahead and finish talking. So you see that notification pop up over Karis's head. You kind of swipe it to the side, or you see 20 swipe it to the side, and you do get a chance to sort of like read it before, though. It's a very short message. I don't know. We don't hear much. Yeah, we don't hear much from Shervin, I feel like. Or 19, really. Elliot gets a lot of the spotlight. But in this particular circumstance, I'm going to say it is Shervin. And I think if you don't mind me like taking over sort of, I think what you sort of hear is Shervin sensing your feelings about this. Just sort of being like, it's like, listen, it's fine. They're just talking. It's not some plot. They're not trying to exclude you. Don't overreact to this. No. Well, so Maeve is not physically in the same space as your body. Yeah, because it was a little message that popped up. Yeah. Yes, exactly. But what is better? Her thinking you're ignoring the message, or her knowing that you're seeing the message that was not intended for you? Okay. Very good. Yes, you do so. And what are you saying in response to Maeve? Weird.
When we stole to the doctor.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm trying to figure it out because you're lighting up in the mixer. Like you're lighting up in OBS, so I don't know what is happening. That's very weird.
Just for the plans. I don't trust any of you.
So I'm just going to ask somebody else in the audience to confirm what Andy's saying, that they are not hearing Tayo or Della. Can you both talk? Okay, confirmed that it is a thing. Okay. No idea what is changing.
Hold on,
here.
check for me. Is everyone hearing Dan?
Yeah.
Just also checking with Andy and Dishonest to see if I'm still coming through.
Yeah, Dan's good. Okay, so it's just Tayo and Della for some reason, and everybody's. Yeah, I know. Drop the call. I know. It's weird. Let me try refreshing your Windows, your browser sources. Okay, Tayo, can you try talking?
Yeah, so basically, my CPU on my laptop was overloaded, so I signed out of Discord and signed on my other computer.
Okay, cool. So I just need to refresh both of you, both of your sources, and then we should be fine. Give me a second.
Yeah,
I believe that is what.
Wait.
Okay, Della is talking.
I am talking. Can you hear the talking that I am doing?
Cool.
The words that are coming out of my
That fixed it. This is the issue. This is the tech issue episode. So moving right along. So fun. We love it.
Somebody wasn't able to get home at 5 o'clock to do the sound check because of public transport in Philadelphia.
Yeah, but it's all good. We did it. We got the victory emote and everything. So, okay. So, Maeve, you get that fun little crawly sensation. You get your response from 20. And the two of you, as you are existing in this virtual space created by you connecting via your nanobots, start to process through the data. You put Shervin to sort of be in charge of what 20 was filtering through. So Shervin picks up the slack as 20 sends a response. And then you return to going through it. Now, I assume you're going through the zone data first. Okay. So what the zone data turns up for you, there's a lot of useless stuff. It's a lot of the schematics of the machine itself. There are a couple of... you did get a couple of top secret things. Like one of them is the like recipe for a couple of the flavors. But you also got a little bit of the personnel files for the San Antonio project. And the biggest takeaway you find is the person who's in charge, the file for the person who's in charge of security for the San Antonio operation. Her name, as you discover through these files, is Kaori Izumi. She is, as you discover by looking through her file, ex-Takamagahara Orbital Defense Force. She was... there is a small note included in her file that she was dishonorably discharged just shy of obtaining citizenship. Takamagahara citizenship being something that is deeply coveted by people born on Earth. You can visit Takamagahara, but only citizens are allowed to live there. And it is basically becoming a Takamagahara citizen is basically the best outcome possible for a person born on Earth. And obviously one of the paths to doing that is serving in the Orbital Defense Force, their version of the military.
Okay. Unsure what to do with that now, so I suppose we will keep parsing info. But I guess if I have the capability to do so, I'll ping it over to Ellis.
Sure. That is really the only piece of really important information that you find. The other stuff that you were able to pull out of it being top secret before Ellis shot it is largely just recipe stuff, day-to-day stuff, some internal memos that make no sense to you, things like that. Yes, Jaxper.
I want to hand some of those recipes off to 19, the suspicious one, to see if there's any interactions of making these into mind-altering chemicals or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Just,
mm-hmm.
In case.
Yeah. 19 gets to work on that, disseminating that information, and we'll, return with an answer in time. Okay. Are you severing your connection after you get the zone information?
Actually, hey, 20. You want to pass me that AutoDoc info too?
Yeah, I'll load that into a particularly fat cicada that is going to drill into you, Jax.
Cicadas being the physical manifestation of your nanobots.
You have no... I hate that so much. I hate that so much.
It's a big file.
Man.
The burrowing skin cicada is your version of a zip file.
It's my most efficient compression method.
Just a particularly aggressive flash drive. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. A buzz drive.
The worst part is when it actually gets into you, and then just you extract all the data, and it just turns into thousands of smaller cicadas.
That just...
Oh no, I was just envisioning, how the cicadas leave that husk behind. That's what happens when it's
it
an empty
injects all
zip
the
file.
data, and then it just
Oh,
leaves the
ew.
dried cicada on your skin that you have to, like...
Did you just say
off.
ew? Like, that's the thing that got you?
Look, I'm just trying to
You're
live
the one who
my very
sent a
best
cicada
Shino
to burrow
Aburame
into
life.
Jaxper.
I like how Jaxper's form of the nanobots is like these cute little lights that just sort of very wispy.
Fireflies,
and then 20s
yeah.
version of the nanobots is like full on body horror type shit.
Yeah. My finger detaches and becomes a cyber worm that burrows into Neo's belly. And then I use that for espionage.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Right.
Okay. Thank you for this.
You're welcome.
Dude.
Anytime.
So, I'm sorry, what was broken down and given to whom? Because there was a lot of hacking and cracking that was distributed. So could we get like a PowerPoint real quick on who got what?
Yes.
There continues to be a lot of information. If you want to do it, 20, go for it.
Just as a breakdown, I have sent Maeve the autodoc plans. Ellis has received all of the intel that I've gleaned from the Zone Corp machine. Jaxper also I'm just gonna distribute everything to everybody.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll just ignore whatever we don't need. But yeah, so the primary Zone stuff was the location of that one Taka X agent, right?
Taka Orbital Defense Force, Cowrie something. Cowrie.
What's her current position? What's she doing now?
She's the head of security for the San Antonio project, is her official title in the records.
Okay, but she's working for Zone now.
Yes.
Got it.
This is a Zone personnel file.
Got it. That's what I thought. I was like, she was an ex-Taka agent working for Zone now, right? Yeah, got it. Okay.
And then also, just as a reminder, you did also get just while you're thinking about things, don't forget that in exchange for you pulling off this job, Marcus Pike did give you the information about the one-armed man in the work camp when, you mentioned that you were looking for Grace.
Yeah.
So there's also that.
And I know that Maeve took note of that too, because she was sitting at the bar at the same time.
So that's probably the thing that stands out the most to Maeve about all of the current goings-ons. Anyway, so you have the autodoc plans. And are you making that a personal project? Like, are you going to build that into Nephilim once you get back to it? Or are you... Okay. All right.
Just as sort of like another back burner personal project she's working on of just like, well, I don't know, that one didn't pick anything up, but like clearly something's going on and maybe like it just wasn't far enough along yet for the autodoc to catch it. But like maybe if I calibrate my own, it'll pick it up. So she's just going to start on that project. Obviously right now it's more like figuring out how to go about doing it and what parts she would need. It's sort of like prep stage, what she can do on the planet to bring back to the ship with her.
That's totally fair. Also, it could all just be in your head. Like you had that panic attack the other day and you had this like maybe just a hallucination. You don't really know. But that unit did say you were fine when it scanned you. Could just be some sort of psychological thing.
Yeah, but like, can't fix that. So clearly it has to be an actual problem.
Clearly. Okay.
Clearly.
It's
either that or she finds Ellis and goes, I want what you're drinking, and just starts like, numbing the problems that way.
The brown liquor medicine,
If it works for Ellis and Grace, clearly it'll work for me.
Super functional solutions to your problems.
All I'm saying is I have the ability to get rid of your inhibitions. So if you want to stop feeling
What
Just-
does that? What is that?
I don't know, but we'll find out.
We talked about the ketamine therapy last session, if you recall. It was a 20's suggestion to inject Maeve with a toxin that lowers her inhibition so she can cry and process through all of the grief.
Because right now, as I'm struggling with the idea of like an external force no longer making me feel like I recognize my own body or sense of connection to what's going on around me, the best thing to do would be to accept drugs from one of the people that did that to me. Yes.
Well,
To
yeah,
chemically dissociate.
Yeah, now you have an internal force to battle with that external force. They cancel each other out, really.
It's like chemotherapy.
I'm just gonna need you guys to like stop pretending to do medicine to people.
Yeah. Let's all practice medicine.
Specifically mental health medicine. Yes, this is both Jaxper and Della talking right
I was
now.
going to say, this feels like a Della sentence, but it's in the Jaxper.
It's in Jaxper's voice. Jaxper suddenly has degrees I wasn't aware of.
I've been around for a really long time. You get fucking bored, man.
Has read so many self-help books, just so many.
I've read so many self-help books. Oh my god, you've no idea.
He got really into the
So
question
much
for a few
self-help.
years.
If there is an anger management textbook, I've read it. They work better when you're not, full of nanobots.
They're
And
very
also-
efficient for hitting things, though.
And also
Gonna be
17
thick.
forever.
Also 17 forever. That does cause problems.
Oh yeah, you have whole vampire shit going on, don't you?
Full of vampire shit. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Speaking
so
of Anne Rice.
R.I.P. Anne Rice.
R.I.P.
Rest in pepperonis.
That complicated, very complicated you.
All the curses of those fanfiction.net authors she sued back in the early 2000s finally caught up with her.
Finally came in. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so you have that information about Kaori Izumi. There are more data packets that you have access to if you want to start going through those, or if you want to start acting on what you found immediately, you can do that also.
Oh, while I've got extra processing power, I'm using that extra processing power. If I can use, I'm like still have a personal project of processing the memories from all of my siblings. So if like while I've got them all here and active in a shared workspace, if I can like get some more processing, like have any of them worked for Zone? Do any of them know anything about Zone?
Sure.
Can I put Elliot in a headlock and get him to give me some information? Metaphorically.
I think it's really interesting because I think what it looks like in my mind anyway is, you're sort of like in my mind, you're sort of just in this void, sitting across from each other. Like you're like one of your palms are resting on top of the other person's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of the physical, visualization of your connection to each other. And then I think as you start to splinter off into 19 and Shervin and Elliot, you just sort of see these like other forms stand up from Jaxper's body. So it's almost as if like Jaxper is standing up from the seated position and like walking away, but it's a different person each time. And like, they're sort of like holding manila folders in their hands, and they're just sort of like flipping through pages as they like are processing through this. And I don't think 20 can hear this, but I think you just hear Jaxper, the chatter of them sort of narrating the stuff that they're going through out loud. So like you hear Shervin being like, the strawberry flavor is composed of several core components. And then you hear Elliot on the other side being like, basic maintenance for a Zone vending machine begins at the base. And 19, I guess 19, you still have sort of working on the chemical compounds to try to figure out if any of it is addictive or psychoactive. I forget.
Yes.
Cool. All right. So there's just sort of like all this noise that's happening around Jaxper that you can sort of, I think you can mute it if you want to, but by default, you are just sort of getting this flood of information.
Yeah, I'm working on my own data stream, I think. So I've got them sort of processing muted with like some like alerts that they can send me if they're finding anything that they think is interesting. And I'm going to be pulling up my own files, which are actually their like version of like internal personnel files, and like flipping through their memories of if any of them have any interactions with Zone beyond drinking the beverages.
Okay, very cool.
But I'm going to be doing that memory processing so that they don't have to be doing that memory processing.
Right. That makes sense. Okay, cool. So they're sifting through all of that data. I'm just going to say you don't find any connection between any of the three of them and Zone. Obviously, 19 did not live very long. Like your memories of 19's life are also 19's memories of life, because but Elliot and Shervin, there's no real connection beyond remembering drinking Zone, because everybody has had a Zone.
Mm-hmm.
It's got electrolytes.
Some of it has electrolytes, not all of it has electrolytes.
I mean, it's got a lot of salt in it, and that's a kind of electrolyte. And magnesium citrate, it's just chock fucking full of it.
Okay, and any interactions. I'm also going to sort any interactions with the Luddite group.
The Puritans.
The Puritans.
So I think you've looked into this before, and also
you've never given me any answers.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I've told you I've been looking into it, and I've never gotten answers from the GM.
Okay, fair enough. No.
Okay.
No, there's nothing there, because if there had been, they would have there could not have been any collusion at the very least, just because of the nature of Shervin, 19, and Elliot. You saw the way that fake Lucy, reacted to you.
Right.
And, it's safe to assume that any interactions between any of your brothers and the Church of the First now, aka the Puritans, would have been violent at best.
Cool.
And there's nothing like that. No, their paths never crossed.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
Then the only other thing I'd be looking at through some of the AutoDoc data, but Maeve is also looking through that. So.
Mm-hmm. 20, you have other data you can go through if you want to.
Actually, specifically what I got from the Scrappers Union.
Sure. So you went into Hugo's personal device. What were you looking for? Because this was sort of a remote, you sent your drone in, and similar to what happened with Pike, it stayed with Hugo for a day while it extracted the information. So what did you tell it to seek out?
Anything regarding Grace. Basically, I was just trying to see if they were holding out on any info about any of her history with the Scrappers Union that they didn't want to be upfront with us about.
Interesting. Okay. Let's see. You start to go through Grace's information, and most of the file is stuff you all already knew. Grace started with the Scrappers Union probably around 20 years ago, It looks like not quite 20, but close on it. We'll say about 18. She was, older, so that timeline matches up. But there isn't really any information included before that part of her life. There is a gap you find in her membership. Essentially, she stopped paying her dues. She was not a member of the union for about 2 years. Kind of shock right in the middle of there. At right about the 10-year mark, she was no longer a member.
And are there any, is there a list of known associates at that time that maybe we didn't know about? Just so, I don't know, maybe we have a list of people to follow up with.
No, based on the information that you find, there is, she never had a crew. She was a solo operator right up until the time Maeve joined.
Gotcha. So, big old goose egg from this. Drats. Can I, email this Zone Corp info to let's see, where's that list of orgs? 1 to Crucible, 1 to Apex, 1 to Stedman Jang, and another one to Spiria Pharmaceuticals.
Now, when you say mail this information, which information?
Let's say they're secret recipes.
Okay. You have 1 or 2 secret recipes that you found. So you want to send those off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Create some corporate Discord, or at least any of the corporations present on or in Tokyo.
None of them have an active presence in San Antonio. You can buy goods and wares from pretty much all of them here, but just in the same way that there's the McDonald's in every city in America, but not the McDonald's headquarters. You know what I mean?
Oh,
why not just send it? Why not send that and the plans for moving into San Antonio up just to Taka? Because
I'm not exactly sure that they really want to hear from me at all. But is there a way I could do that anonymously? Or do I have to drop a letter in a mailbox to do that anonymously?
Well, so
I can have one of my other iterations do it. I can have one of my
and that ties Crucible into it too.
And Stedman Jang.
Okay, yeah.
So, I could just have, 29. If it's coming from 2019 signature, no one's heard from that signature in ages. Granted, people are gonna kind of potentially wonder about that, but it should be anonymous. If they try to track it back if they try to track it back, they'll find it tracked to
a dead person.
The dead person.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, a person who never existed. 19. Not a project that ever existed.
I like this.
Yeah.
You go with it, 19.
19. 19 is pretty much at your beck and call.
Not a lot of personality there.
No, not a lot of personality there. 19 was what you were supposed to be.
Dead. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, he was the silent soldier.
Yes. Exactly right.
So yeah, I feel like that's our best option. Like, we've got the information about them wanting to set up down here. Presumably, not everyone has that. Let's get 2019 to, create a. 2019 can create a not 2019. Iteration 19 can just make a Gmail account, send it over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Chaos.
I'll ping Maeve and Ellis and let them know, like, hey, is this stupid?
Maeve is just going to send something back of, our whole attempt to be spies is stupid. Do it.
Laughing emoji, crying emoji. You right, though.
I was like, Ellis's like full response is, I shot a vending machine tonight, period.
I don't feel like that's the first time you've done that in
Is
your
that
life.
your response back?
Yes.
Like, no comment.
I don't feel like that's actually all that much of a marker of a good or a bad night for you. I feel like
I think it's more of an indicator of like whether or not that's a good or a bad idea on your end. Is Alice is like, I shot a vending machine tonight.
Just we're so
like,
in over our
fucking,
heads.
Right, like compared to the other things that are happening, like, yeah, you're probably fine.
Yep.
Like, this is probably fine, right?
Cool.
Fine.
Cool. Yeah, I'll send that up. We'll send that up. We'll send that up with. How about we send that up along with that personnel file for their chief of security, who's the disgraced Taka lady, just so that they are aware that she's involved in this project, and so they might want to take
local,
particular
apparently.
interest.
She's here.
And local.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and we use her location information to kind of base Ellis's plan of running zone trucks into shit. Like nearby her location.
Would we call that a plan?
It's a very strong, thought through.
It's a plan in that he hasn't done
plan.
it yet.
Listen, we're in the early stages. Okay, I bought boots.
I bought boots.
I mean, once a man buys boots,
You can't steal a truck in cowboy boots?
Ellis,
That's
how many
unethical.
pairs of cowboy boots do you need, really?
I really don't agree with the amount of interrogation that's going on regarding my footwear and or my hobbies. So let's get back to you all doing whatever sciencey, smart math, computer shit is you're doing, and you leave the boot thinking to the bootman.
I like that this is a conversation that's happening purely over text messaging.
Well, voice to text on Ellis's case while he's in the same room.
Side-eye emoji.
Primarily because he can't figure out how to work them damn little keyboards on the fucking flexi screen anymore.
I was going to say, Ellis knows how to operate text or speech to text.
It turns out in the future, if you scream at your phone long enough, your phone automatically turns on text to speech.
It's canon.
Yeah.
Honestly, that'd be a very useful ability. Like, they should just build that in now.
Yeah.
I feel like the opposite would be far more helpful. I genuinely don't want my phone to pick up most of the things I yell at it. But
Well, it's like on Zoom when
like,
you're muted and you start talking and it shows you're muted.
Right.
Space Zoom in Space Future.
This is more of like boomer tech stuff where like if you get frustrated enough with your phone, it automatically turns on the phone assistant to try and help you through the problem. Like that kind of shit.
I like that Ellis is a boomer because he blows stuff up.
He hates technology, but also yes. Both those things.
Yeah.
In fact, you're quite right.
Yeah. So you all are so you all have some information to work with. The Scrappers Union information, just to circle back to that you were trying to get access to, 20. Grace's personnel file. You have that in hand, but it doesn't really seem like something you could do much with. Do you want to go through the data you got from Pike?
Yes.
Okay. And was there anything specific that you were hoping to get from that as well?
Maybe any back-end dealings that Pike already has with Taka and the local constabulary.
Okay, so you're just trying to check him out, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you go through all of his stuff, and you don't really you don't find any evidence at all of collusion with Takamagahara. Do you have a question?
I was gonna say perhaps another megacorp?
No, he seems as clean as a crime boss can be. I mean, he is obviously, he obviously breaks the law on a regular basis. He has, you're positive that, he has killed people before. He obviously has committed larceny, other, so crimes, basic crimes like that, your run of the mill criminal stuff. But you don't find any evidence that he's anything other than what he has presented himself as. He absolutely does own at least a portion of the San Antonio police.
Okay. This might be a stretch, but do I have access enough still to be able to delete anything he might have on Ellis?
I might need you to roll for that. I'm going to say that you got access to pretty much all of Marcus's information, all of his data.
Also, potentially he wouldn't have that much on Ellis because there was a power transfer at some point there. So that would potentially make this possible as well, right? Is that Marcus took power after I had left. I don't know how much confusion that was, but it's not like he was the boss while I was in the syndicate.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, he was the one who kept he saved the information that he did have about Ellis for sure.
Oh, for sure.
So I might need you to roll for that, but yeah, I think what I'm going to need you to do is do I want to do hacking and cracking, or I mean, I think this is kind of the perfect opportunity. So I need you to roll plus slick. Nice. Yeah, that's plenty. So you can absolutely do that. You pick one. Once again, it's going to take a while to get in. You have to trigger an alarm or alert someone, or you'll have to leave traces of your incursion behind that could incriminate you.
I guess the safest for now is just gonna go with it's gonna take a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we'll work with that. It is going to take you a while. There is a sub folder, we'll say, of the information that Marcus has gathered on Ellis, that has its own security protocols that you're also going to have to break through. He's clearly a very paranoid man. Okay, so you have gone through the information that you have gotten from Marcus Pike. You have gone through the information that you have stolen from Hugo about the Scrappers Union and Grace, and you have gone through the information that you managed to pull out of that zone machine. Maeve, you know about the man in the work camp who only has one arm, which is, a purported, it is something that the Puritans do to their members. You are required to demonstrate your devotion to the cause being the end of technology, as it is a corrupting force that has pulled humanity away from God. To demonstrate your devotion to that cause, you do have to let them drive a nail into a part of your body and then let the infection spread to the point where that limb has to be removed. Most commonly, this is an arm, but not always. So, this tip-off, there is the possibility that this is a member or a former member, you don't know, of the Church of the First Nail.
Mm-hmm.
There is that. There's also this weird, creepy crawly thing that's going on with your skin. That's weird and different.
Yep. Don't like it. Not a fan.
I don't blame you. And then there's the Autodoc project, but you're not really going to be able to work on that until you get back to the Nephilim. So
yeah, no. That'll start in earnest later. That's so just putting a pin in that for now.
Exactly. So you've got that going on. Jaxper, you have 19, who is going to deliver all of the corporate secrets you stole to the competition.
Yup.
Sort of anonymously. And then there is the other data that you've gathered and the information that you can do with that, which you will. And you have that information about Kaori Izumi. Let's check back in on Ellis before we take a break. We'll take like a 5 to 10 minute break, depending, and then circle back to see what else is going on. Ellis, you are hanging out outside of the warehouse, or are you going back home, or what's your plan for the evening?
So, just to catch up our timeline, basically all that was going on primarily, I assume, while Ellis was like drinking shitty coffee, watching a warehouse, and being like, sure, yeah, no, send data wherever, who cares?
In game, not that much time has passed. That whole exchange of information was
exactly. Yeah. That's what I meant. I wanted to establish that we're not talking about 5 a.m. now. We're talking this is about the time that he would be leaving. So instead of heading directly back, because that's the thing that I'm actually good at, if that's not something that came over in that data package, is that Ellis is gonna find out what he can in a couple hours on Kaori. Does she work close to the warehouse? Does she work inside of the warehouse? Does she hit any of the haunts that are on the warehouse? Because at this point, obviously nothing's going on in there. Like you established, it seems to be a daytime kind of operation. But that means that there are local haunts. There's going to be some kind of inn, bar, tavern, whatever, around that area that people are slinging by. So he's going to do his usual, let's talk to some hooligans and some idiots about who works at the warehouse. What's the digs on that? Hey, who's heard anything about this, Kaori person? She a hard-ass manager? That kind of stuff.
Okay.
See if he can make a connection in that sense.
I think this will be Bloodhound, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thought, is do a Bloodhound thing. It's shady context, not intimidation. I'm not trying to go that hard. It's mostly okay, let's find out something about this person. Because I do still literally have 2 leads to spend. I haven't decided I'm going to spend one on her, but that might be a thing to do. Well, actually, no, because in order to trigger that move, I need to. So yeah, let me spend a lead, and we'll make Kaori one of those. But we've been playing kind of fast and loose in that system. We don't need her to be wanted. I'm just assigning her as that in order to make the moves click in.
Yeah, I think that works with synergy.
Yeah. All right. So let me do 2d6 and volatile. Hey. That's a 12.
What is? Your dice didn't pop up for some reason.
They didn't? They did on mine. The little red d6s?
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't show up on the overlay. But either way, it's fine. So I see your roll, though, so that's totally cool. You got a 12, which is plenty. You gain 1 lead, and you can ask 2 questions.
Get a lead back, and then I get 2 questions. Oh yeah, let's do this. So it's going to be where was she last spotted, and what weakness of hers can I exploit?
Gotcha. Cool. Okay. The where she was last spotted, you would know, is a very upscale, very expensive bar that is right along the Riverwalk of San Antonio. San Antonio, the present day city in our real world, the defining feature is the Riverwalk, which is basically the San Antonio River. That showed up. Was that the same roll? Did you roll again?
I did not roll again. That was the same roll.
That was incredibly delayed, but it did show up. Things are going well tonight. The Riverwalk,
How do you spell Kaori, by the way?
Kaori.
Oh, got it.
So the Riverwalk is very like picturesque. It's basically the section of the city where the San Antonio River passes through. It's part of like the touristy part of the city. There are bars and entertainment, and it's actually very beautiful. But in our setting, because time has passed and there's been this fusion of cultures from Takamagahara 2 and San Antonio and back and forth. There are cherry blossoms that are on the side. The signs are more likely to be in English and Japanese as opposed to just English. It's no less touristy than it used to be, however. It's just very beautiful. And there is a very upscale a whiskey bar, where you find out that she is a regular, or at least has been for the last month, which you presume is how long she's been in town. Yeah.
Okay.
And we're going to say the bar is called the Spyglass.
You're putting it in the location.
It tends to have a very wealthy clientele. The upper crust of San Antonio tend to drink here.
Got it.
Are they in fact crusty?
The crustiest.
No, they are not. In fact, Ellis is far crustier.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. I'm seasoned. Weathered. Anyway, what weakness can I exploit?
So the weakness that you can exploit, I assume, we don't have to roleplay this out if you don't want to. I wasn't sure if you were going to go to the bar, but
probably not tonight. It's assumedly too late for that bar to be open.
That is fair, yeah.
Okay.
Almost certainly. Then I will give you an answer to that question, but we will get into it when you actually go to the Spyglass.
Got it. It's a question to be answered.
Yes, but you will get an answer, I guarantee it. With that being said, I think we should take a quick break. We'll just sort of refresh our drinks, maybe grab some food if you're hungry, use the bathroom, etc., etc. Thank you for sticking with us. If it's the first time you've watched and you're not following us already, go ahead and click that follow button. And if you have been watching and you like what you see, the link to donate is right there in the chat. You can do !PP donate at any point if you would like to give money to Planned Parenthood. Any money that you would give to us in forms of bits or subscriptions can go to them. $5, $10, $1, doesn't matter. It all helps. We will be back in just 5 minutes. So thanks for sticking with us, and see you soon. Hello, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us. We are going to pick right back up where we left off. Yeah. So we're going to time skip ahead to the next day. Basically, you all can share your information with one another, and we'll just say that you do so unless you tell me otherwise. So you all know about Kaori Izumi, you all know about the Spyglass. I think that was the only thing of real note that was turned up. So yeah, we'll just we'll go from there. It is the next day. You are still in San Antonio, and you all presumably managed to get some sleep and are up and ready to face another day in the Scrappers Union apartment.
Where'd you first?
We've got this info. We've given it to Taka. Do we want to do some more direct anti-corp work? Ellis, this is kind of your shtick, man. What's the playbook here?
Yeah, I think we need to do some direct action. So yeah, I don't really understand all the espionage y'all did. It seems good, probably. I don't know. I'm thinking we tonight investigate more about this Kaori person that 20 pulled up. Because I don't know, she seems like a pressure point that we could kind of lean on a little. But beyond that, I don't know. I'm thinking about what we can do to this warehouse. As far as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. GM, this is the major kind of distributing center here in San Antonio. So I don't know. I've never blown up a whole warehouse before, so I figured if we could do something kind of aggressive or maybe start a little public action or something.
A little good trouble.
Time to start a riot is what I'm thinking.
Well,
So-
Why? I think my question is, why do they want to put it here? What are the benefits of them putting their plant here?
Probably cheap. But yeah, we don't know anything. We'd have to look into that.
Yeah. I mean, we've got their plans for.
Yeah, is that something
Like when
we can glean
when we
from the
dug
data?
through this, presumably people would be talking about like why it's a good idea. Like that's pretty normal stuff when you're looking at like corporate development.
Well, you don't have access to all of their files. You have access to what 20 was able to extract from that one vending device.
But you did say that we found information about their movement into San Antonio and their plans to develop a thing. Was it anything more than just, I assumed that there was some more interesting data in there just other than, hey, we plan to do this. But why San Antonio? That's the question. Presumably someone would at some point have sent an email saying, or an internal message saying, San Antonio is a great place. Here's why.
Mm-hmm. The Kaori Izumi file was sort of meant to be the big piece of information you got from that data dump. But I'm happy to go ahead and say that, like, you do find some, one of the internal memos, a lot of it is gibberish and doesn't mean anything to you all, or is just kind of useless and not interesting to you, quarterly sales or whatever. But you do find one bit of information, one internal memo that's talking about the San Antonio move, which is basically just territory without competition. No other mega corporation has ever set up shop in San Antonio. You also have access to all of Takamagahara 2, which is the only Takamagahara orbital platform in the United States. So, like, there's that aspect of it. It's not as interesting as you would expect it to be. It seems to be one of those things where it's like, well, we wouldn't have to contend with any other mega corporation if we move to San Antonio.
Okay, so they have very little, and for what we've been able to find, they have very little personnel and material here.
Right, beyond
already.
Beyond what Presence Zone has in any city. Yes, exactly. Their current headquarters, notwithstanding, which is in Seattle currently.
Okay.
But Seattle, every mega corporation has an office in Seattle. So, this is basically just a move to say we were the first ones here. Yeah.
Okay. I probably wouldn't have actually sent that to Taka if there was nothing else other than, though, I gotta be honest, somebody who's actually interested in that stuff, like non-massaged quarterly earnings can be interesting.
Yeah, the only other way I could see that being used as somebody who does have to help with scouting locations for new farms is the proximity that facility would have to other similar businesses. So yeah, I don't know. It might still be good for the rest of the megacorps to get word of that so that they can potentially swoop in and steal the perfect site from Zone.
Creates
you
additional
sort of-
competition regardless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you sort of have two different prongs to this attack of sharing the data around. You sent it to Takamagahara, which is not a mega corporation. It's a sovereign state essentially, and what they do with the data, hard to say. But like the fact that Izumi is a former Takamagahara orbital defense soldier, that might mean something to them. They surely by now know about the plans that Zone has to move into San Antonio. But so you didn't alert them about that. But yeah, maybe there's something interesting they can glean in there. Giving the information to the other megacorps is a much more direct attack on the corporation of Zone itself. Obviously you don't want that information in the hands of your competitors. So
Wait, if we're going to give this out, we need to not give it to Stedman Zhang or Crucible. Because if we give it to Stedman Zhang and Crucible, then I can never come back to Taka 2.
Okay. That leaves. Hold up.
the Spire Pharmaceuticals,
And Apex.
Apex, yep.
Oh, and JPN, who is missing from our big list here.
Well, they're not technically an Earth mega corporation.
No, but they are Megacorp.
I would say that JPN is beyond Megacorp status. Like, they are one of two entities that are able to get fuel for spaceships.
Sure, I just mean, like, in that sense, they're like
Right. Just
mega
evil,
OPEC
big evils.
in a way.
Yeah. No, any of these mega corporations wish they made the amount of money that JPN makes, in a cycle.
Right.
So they're to put it in expanse
CRN,
terms, because they're Tycho.
Working for JPN.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're Tycho Station.
Yeah.
But yes, so you can absolutely distribute that information to Apex and Spire Pharmaceuticals. And I mean, like, there are other lesser mega corporations. There are certainly other mega corporations that are trying to compete in the beverage game. Zone is just the most successful.
There also has to be a Pepsi to this code.
Exactly.
Like, there's Zone
Yes.
Cola, there has to be area effect or like,
That took me a little longer.
Somebody's
than I
out there
would've liked
making
to
Four
admit.
Loco, man.
Uh-huh.
right. Well, Four Loco exists in all universe. That's a constant.
Oh no.
Also,
It's like the speed of
canonically-
light. It's presumed in order for there to be accretion of matter. Anyway, I think, speaking of CRN, because this is where my brain was going while we were on break. I think that's Ellis's game plan, right? He's been on the opposite side of this fence more than once. So his thought is, all this digital stuff is probably super effective. Like, he's literally not looking down his nose at it, but he also could not understand it. Like, makes no beans to him at all. So his thought process is to stir up shit as aggressively as possible. And the two areas and ways he knows to do that are to get some group of activists pissed about this, and then also get some group of delinquents who want to rob a soda company, and then get both of those groups of people at the same place and as irritable as possible at the same time. So Alice is going to make flyers.
No more company towns.
Interesting. Okay, so you're basically trying to stir up, like, not
Yeah,
a resolution.
where they're going like the corpo route, like Ellis's concept is like, I know where they're going to put the building, I know where the local warehouse is, and I know that there's a lot of very disenfranchised, very angry people in this area. Fuck them. Like, fuck Zone Cola and fuck everything about this. So, yeah, Ellis is going to fucking spend some grit on literally doing that. And then at the same time, not like a syndicate or like an organized crime ring, although someone of the equivalent of like a concrete union might be involved at some point, might involve themselves, much in the same way that Marcus is involved. Alice's immediate thought process is like, find some group that he knows is capable or interested in breaking into a warehouse and stealing whatever isn't nailed down inside of a Zone Cola warehouse, and try and organize both those events to happen at the same time, of like very angry protest looting. Like, and not the same group of people, but literally put them all in the same area at the same time.
Right. Is the hope that the because what Marcus Pike asked you to do was Marcus Pike just asked you to get rid of Zone. Marcus Pike's suggestion was to pit Takamagahara and Zone against each other.
Which is what 20 and Jaxper seem to be doing very effectively, and seems to be very smart and, scalpel precision type thing. Ellis is a sledgehammer man with a sledgehammer hand, so we're gonna... Zone has things with Zone Corp on them, and I'm going to go throw flaming bottles at them with a bunch of angry people.
Your goal is just to hamper their current operation.
Yeah, it just caused them enough pain that they have a shareholder meeting to go, do we really want to go here? There's a lot of angry people throwing bricks through windows of Zone trucks right now.
That is fair. That is absolutely fair. Okay. So, very cool. You can absolutely pursue that. Are you... So what's your order of operations here, basically? Like, are you still planning... You're planning to go to the Spyglass this evening, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so this is like your day activity.
Yeah, my day activity is to see if, and not that I'm particularly well-versed in it, but like, I don't know, there's probably a local group that's not super happy with the concept of a mega corporation moving in, period. Let's get them involved or inform them. And then 2, Ellis probably knows of some haunt, if it's not a bar he's already been to, where a bunch of idiots or desperate idiots will be hanging out willing to rob a fucking soda warehouse, and he's going to hit them up too and be like, hey.
Okay.
And literally lie, like, I know a way in, like, we should do a hit or something.
Okay.
And like just try and get interest involved with the intent of like never actually setting it up himself, but just getting interest in the area of like, hey, did you know Zone's moving a lot of product? They got a lot of money in there, with the intent of like someone's gonna try and hit them. Right.
And yeah, I think that's cool. So yeah, you can definitely spend your day doing that. 20 and Jaxper, are you following along with this plan, or do you have your own stuff to do today? You've already sort of like done your information brokering thing.
I'm going to see.
I inform everyone too, so they know that's.
Yeah, I'm going to. Jaxper's going to go with Maeve, and I think he's going to try to put. I think he's going to try to put one of his other iterations into a system. Just be like, I don't know, go fuck up their stuff.
That's fair. Okay. And where is Maeve going today? You are muted.
That's fine. I wasn't saying anything anyway. Okay, so we have that information about there's the guy in the work camp, and that's locally there's the work camp here?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a prison camp, essentially.
So it's not like we can like just stroll in and be like, hey, I'd like to talk to one of your prisoners, if you'd be so kind.
Yeah, basically.
Wait, I can do that?
Well, no, yeah, you are correct in that they would probably not let you.
I was
do
going to be
that.
like, how accommodating.
No, I mean, and one of the things that Marcus mentioned to Ellis when he gave you this information, and you were there, was that the man seems to be under like maximum security
Right.
almost. It's hard for him to get away.
I'm just trying to think about anything that is remotely in Maeve's wheelhouse for
I mean, unless we do the Scooby-Doo thing again and put you in a jumpsuit. And...
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Yeah, like you need me to pretend to be a tech for something to get in somewhere? Sure, I can fake being a tech for something, but like, that's about it. I'm not hearing Della. Can other people hear Della?
I hit my mute button instead of unmute. I thought I was muted, but I wasn't.
Can you go in and, like, you could go in as a tech to try to fix something, or you could just be like, could you go in as, like, someone who wants to interview people for, like, a project? Like, you look young enough that it could be like a school, like a university project where you've got to like write a paper.
Hi, my class wants me to go talk to maximum security prisoners. Do you have any that I could interview?
Man, listen.
If Maeve could sell it, if anyone could sell it, Maeve could sell it.
I mean, it's that, or you want to pretend to be a tech. Like, I don't know. You want to talk to this guy. Like,
yeah.
The other option, like, I mean, I'm not.
No, basically, I'm just trying to decide if Maeve would like wait for everybody else to be able to use your skill sets of like get plans for the prison, find out more information, like all of that stuff first, or if she would just be like, I don't trust any of them. I'm going in blind. I can do this myself. So
yeah. Jaxper is like there. Jaxper is like with you physically.
Okay.
So he's not making this an option.
The going in by myself is not an option. That's what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah. Unless you want to use one of those EMP grenades that you've been stashing, which is. But
not
you
yet.
have those EMP grenades.
You do have those EMP grenades that Jaxper does not know about. So.
Just we'll keep that in my back pocket for now.
Okay. If you don't want to PvP anything, that's fine.
Not yet. Not just to like get out of the house. What an overreaction.
I mean, he's not preventing you from going anywhere. He's just gonna go with you.
Yeah.
Like it's basically just like, no, you should have a punch boy. I'm here to be your punch boy.
Sure.
Just rolling around with a bowl of punch.
Professional punch boy, Jaxper says.
I mean, unless we wanted to try and say we're family and see if they'll let us in to talk to him that way. We both look young.
Yeah.
We could be some
I could try to
relation.
fake like docs for you guys.
Yeah. If you can forge us some documents.
The only thing is if he's max security, they may not let visitors at all, even if you have a reason to visit, is the thing. I don't know policies in this work camp. I don't know if visitors in a work camp are allowed, period.
You would know that is a thing that theoretically could happen. He is just very like closely guarded.
Okay.
He is considered a risk.
I mean, I'm down for work camp infiltration. Hell yeah, let's do it.
Just like
this seems like a safe thing to do.
You mean just like sneaking, like full sneaking in, not trying to forge docs and try to go through legal channels? You want to like straight sneak in, like physically?
Well, at some point, we're probably going to have a plan for going rogue because chances are they wouldn't leave us alone with him. So as soon as we start asking things about the shadowy organization he presumably was part of, I can't imagine he'll want to talk about it if there's guards like in the room with us.
My eyes light up at the talk of sneaking in and espionage.
All I have to do is touch him.
Like emotionally? Or
No, like
just touch his heart.
No, like physically, and I can technically
become him? I don't
read his mind.
steal his thoughts. Mind taking.
No, I'm not gonna take his mind. I can't do that. I can't do that. We can totally do that. We can absolutely
Take his brain,
we
throw it in the
cannot-
vat. Fuck it.
we will
Life
not
is
do that.
meaningless. What? Huh?
I cannot do that. I will not do that. I can just, like figure out what he's
Mind
thinking.
taking.
What he's thinking.
Yeah, mind taking.
I'm not gonna take his mind. Elliot, stop.
Mind taking.
Which move is that again that you took?
That is brain spike.
Was that brain spike? I thought it was brain
That's
spike.
brain spike.
Brain spike.
Cool.
One of the hits. One of those Jaxper Sim hits that we've all grown to love. Brain spike.
Brain spike.
Yep, brain spike.
If
I've got
it were
flesh
not
knitter
for
now
that
too.
ability, I have no idea where I would be. Like
I feel like I have to
probably
say
still
that
be pussyfooting around and trying to get away with.
I definitely didn't hear flesh knit. It's not.
What did you hear?
Don't worry about it.
I think he missed the N.
I got a wrong vowel in there. Let's go with that one. Anyway.
Anyway.
Moving
right along. We've got so you've got options. Is your goal going to be to try to get Jaxper is your goal going to be to try to get Jaxper alone with this guy or even just in the room with this guy?
It seems like that's the most effective method because questioning him would take time versus if we can just pull the information we need.
Like teeth?
Like teeth.
Like teeth. What? So I know why you have a random drawing of a jawbone, but would you like to share with the class why you have a random drawing of a jawbone?
I'm drawing. Anyway.
Jawbone.
Jawbones.
Okay.
Drawbone.
Jawbone.
No, we're gonna move on from that.
What? Why?
Okay. So you've got Jaxper. You want to get Jaxper in a room with this man. You're going to need like a cover story or something to do so, probably. But it sounds like you both just kind of want to head out for the labor camp.
Oh, okay. Crazy idea. What if we get ourselves labor camped?
No.
But that gets us in.
So
No.
instead of figuring out how
Because
to...
here's how I know how to get us out of a labor camp. Destroy the labor camp. And there's a whole lot of people. Now, granted, I'm not saying that's not, a good idea
I don't see
in
the
the long
negative in
term.
that.
But here's the thing. There are some people who are in there who probably need to stay in there. And so this guy is a member of these people. They do kind of want to exterminate me, and I'm against that. I don't want to let this guy out while I'm getting out.
And I also am trying not.
Well, we kill him while we're there. 2 birds, 1 stone.
I am trying not to just kill people.
Are we doing a new thing where we don't kill people?
Actually
Did we all,
randomly
like, is this
killing
Lent?
people actually
Is it
is the
Lent?
new thing for me.
Are we giving up murder for Lent?
What if we don't do it, but we seed the idea in somebody else's mind while
Manslaughter, not murder. That's thinking.
At a certain point, we're going to have to pick an approach and go with it.
So what I think we should do, well, I think that if it's going to be me and Maeve, we should play to Maeve's strengths. Like, if Maeve, what would you do? What would Maeve's approach be to get into here? Like
WWMD.
Like, because
Flash a winning smile and hope that they take pity on me.
I mean, if you want to go, can you go in like as a reporter? Can you go in as a journalist? Can you go in as a...
I like the interview a prisoner for my high school aspect. I think that was a really clutch play. It was a good plan.
Listen, I have a master's degree in social work. Sometimes you just have to go interview people in weird places that you would not think that you would just have to go to and interview people.
I'm in a graduate program and I need to talk to a guy who put a nail in his arm until it fell off.
I mean,
There's only one around.
The worst thing they can say is like, no, you can't talk to that guy.
I mean, they could also
All right.
bar you from the facility, maybe. That might be.
So, tactic number 1, I'll try and do the interview, and if that doesn't work, we'll do the more explosive plan.
The one where we get ourselves arrested and put into a labor camp?
No, we're not going to do that. No, we're straight up not going to do that, because that doesn't get us any closer to grace. There are other people we can talk to, other people we can find. If this doesn't work, we're going to find a different way. We're not going to get ourselves assigned to a fucking labor camp.
Noted.
Like the cinematic thought process that while they're having this very dramatic argument, we then cut to Ellis, who's outside of the local community college, handing out like printed off flyers. Like, fight the power, fuck Zone Cola, fuck Zone Cola.
Everyone's very excited about your flyers. Everyone's like, yeah, fuck Zone Cola, man.
Zone Cola.
Wait, no, I mean, I fuck with Zone Cola. Shit.
Some of them are like, Zone Cola's great, bro.
Oh, they're like, yeah, fuck Zone Cola, while taking a big drink in front of you performatively.
Yeah, I only drink Diet Zone Cola. Fuck Zone Cola.
But like legitimately, we see if there's a way to do this that's not get ourselves assigned to a fucking labor camp. And if it doesn't work, we consider that a dead end.
If that's kicked out over like the open channels, Ellis does take a moment to be like, as someone who's been in a labor camp, agreed. You don't want to go.
Okay, well, then Maeve is the decoy doing her school report shtick, and while they're paying attention to Maeve, the rest of us Scooby-Doo around?
Well, I assumed that 20 and Ellis were both going to be on the Zone Cola thing, and that Jaxper and Maeve were going to be following up on Grace stuff.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I assumed that the breakdown was going to be.
All right, I'm in on Zone Cola psyops.
Fuck the power.
Yep.
Never mind.
So, Maeve and Jaxper are headed out to the labor camp. It is a little ways outside of San Antonio proper. You will have to take transportation to get there. But there's plenty of that. You can either, just hire a driver or, rent a car, like get your hands on one a different way. It doesn't really matter. There are definitely reliable automated transportation in a city the size of San Antonio. So it doesn't take you long to get out there. It's not an expensive trip by any means. And when you arrive, you see pretty much exactly what you're expecting to see. It's basically just a large stretch of flat land that goes on for a very, very, very long time outside the city limits. There is a large, boxy concrete building with just tiny rows and rows of tiny windows cut out of it, and beyond the stretch of that building, there are just people. You can just see thousands, if not more, like tens of thousands of people, basically just standing out in the Texas sun, performing labor. There is like you can see that some of it is like cut into furrows in a way that looks like farmland, but you don't see anything growing, and there's no reason to farm, with technology being the way that it is. The only people who might farm in this day and age are gritters. People who actively reject the idea of modern society and choose to live often like the wilderness in small communities. This is not that. So you can only assume that this is just a meaningless form of labor. Similarly, there are people breaking rocks. There are other people digging holes. There are people moving piles of heavy objects from one side to the other side. All of it is just like physical labor with no clear purpose as far as you can tell, except that everybody who is doing so has a pack strapped to their back, and cables that lead from that pack out to cuffs around their wrists and around their ankles. And you would know enough about labor camps to be aware that what they are doing is generating minuscule amounts of power with their physical labor. It is not power that is needed, but that is the only reason why physical labor was chosen as this form of punishment. And as the vehicle that you are riding in, clears the top of the ridge and starts making its way down to the front of the prison, essentially the concrete building, it stops. It lets you out right in front of the gates, and you are able to approach. It is just a large, very tall stretch of chain link fence with more barbed wire around the top, similar to the warehouse, but way, way, way taller. And you are clearly at the section of the fence that is able to slide open like a gate. As you approach, you are stopped. Well, you reach the gateway of the fence, and on the other side, as you start walking towards it, you see somebody coming out of one of the guard towers on either side, wearing just a flat gray uniform, insignia. This is the insignia of the prison itself on the other side, which is just sort of a sunburst, like a yellow sunburst. And it's just a man. He's got a cap on, a button-down shirt with that insignia. His pants are tucked into boots, and he's got a belt that has a sidearm on it, handcuffs, what you recognize as an extendable baton, and he's got a beard. And he appears to be in very good physical shape. But yeah, he sort of walks up. He's also got an assault weapon, an assault rifle in his hands, that he's holding very casually and very relaxed as he approaches you. And he says, can I help you two? Y'all lost?
Oh, no, not lost. We were coming here to, are you who we would speak to about maybe, setting up a the visitors pass?
You got family in here?
No, nothing like that. It's a project for a class we're in where we need to have an interview with looking at the current state of the justice system for a class, and we're looking to interview a prisoner, since we're looking at from all sides of the system and getting perspectives.
Like as you're talking, he straightens up a little bit. You talk about examining the justice system, and he kind of like shifts his shoulders a little bit, rolls them back, straightens himself up a little bit. His hands get a little bit tighter on the weapon, not in a way where he's gonna shoot you or anything, but clearly you've got his attention now. And he says,
specifically, I want to note that Jack sort of sees this and just sort of says, specifically, I'm interested in the rehabilitative power of labor, and I kind of want to know what that's like for people, and we thought this is a labor camp, and that's part of the goal, right? And so we wanted to know more about that.
All right, I want one of you to roll manipulate, and with advantage from the other one. So whichever one of you wants to do the rolling, since you both talked, feel free. That is going to be with Slick.
Hey, Maeve, what's your Slick?
Roll with advantage.
Mine's 0, so why don't you take it with advantage?
So, yeah,
that's right. So I get to
roll 3d6.
Yeah, I forgot. So ignore that.
Okay. Nice.
That's not nice.
Well, you have a bonus
of 1.
Oh well, that's a 5. Yeah.
Of 2. Oh right,
yeah,
that's 5.
It's advantage, not a bonus. Okay, cool. Yeah, you do fail that. So mark an XP.
Should have kept the first roll.
You should have kept the first roll. What happens is, Maeve, you as you are opening your mouth to say more to this guard, to really seal the deal on this, you can see that he's starting to come around and starting to believe you. He definitely liked what Jaxper had to say to him about the rehabilitative power of labor.
You have no idea how much the social worker in me felt horrible.
And I'm the one running capitalist hellscape game, so
yeah.
I feel you. I go to sleep dirty after every session. Maeve, you open your mouth to really seal the deal on this, and you get dizzy. You get very, very dizzy, sort of out of nowhere. Your vision starts to swim. You stumble. The guard on the other side of the fence is like, "Ma'am, are you all right?" Jaxper, you see her start to sway a little bit, and she crumbles.
I'm gonna catch her.
You're able to sort of grab her before she completely falls to the ground. You straighten her back up. You're kind of just holding her, and the guard says, hold on 1 second. And he reaches for his radio. Actually wouldn't be on here anymore. He would be he touches his ear and he says, open the gate. We got a sick civilian out here. And the gate slides open, and he says, why don't you bring her right this way, son? We'll get out of the heat. It's it ain't fit out here for decent folk.
Yeah. I guess so. Jaxper's gonna get very, very flummoxed and is gonna pick her up.
Yeah.
And probably pick her up and then remember to make it look like she's heavy. And after a second, and then as we're going, I think he's going to query the nanobots that are still in her system and just send them a ping and just be like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And if you, That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. You query the nanobots that like may or may not still be in her system, because like no one's really been sure. Scan turned up negative. Sheila did acknowledge that the autodoc unit had been disconnected from a medical database for a very long time. Information that it was able to diagnose with was very outdated. It was more used for like bullet holes and stab wounds and things like that. But timeless things. But you don't receive a ping back from anything in Maeve's system.
Okay, let me do a quick look at this thing here.
While you are looking at that, the guard is going to lead you back into essentially like a almost seems like an interrogation room, because all that's in it is like a metal table and some chairs. And he like opens the door for you all. He explains the situation to like another guard who's sort of like at the front desk, says, she came in for an interview. I don't know if it's heat stroke or what, but like I'm just gonna let her sit down for a second, get him some water. And the guard says, okay. I'm gonna need you, like, the guard, the second guard, this one's a woman, I think, looks at you, Jaxper, and says, y'all go back on in there. I'm going to need you to fill out a visitor form in just a second, but like get her off her feet first. They let you into this room. There's just a metal table and some chairs. Maeve, you can set Maeve down in one of the chairs. You're starting to feel better, Maeve. Like you're still dizzy and nauseous, but it's starting to like fade a little bit. And like every second that you're sort of sitting there, you can feel it sort of getting less and less severe. The guard leaves you alone for about a minute or two while he goes and gets you water.
I mean, she'll turn to Jaxper and be like,
"Are you okay?"
Yeah, I guess it's just part of the whole having died thing. I've been feeling kind of weird recently, but it's fine. I'm okay. I'll be fine. But I mean, we're in now. We should probably try and figure out how we're gonna go talk to that guy.
I don't think this is maybe a great time to talk about, our school project. And Jaxper is going to send you a message to your handheld that's just going to say, we should absolutely not talk out loud about what our plans are in a maximum security prison. They are absolutely watching us. Like, I really, really think that's a great. It's really, really, I admire it, but like, we should probably, maybe you should go home. And he's going to send another message being like, keep pushing it. Keep pushing that you want to keep doing this, unless you want to go home, in which case we can absolutely go home, because, you can do what you want. You get the sense of panic. You see his little muscle twitch in his eye where he's like, I need to say the right thing and I don't know the words.
Look, we don't have time to come back another day for this school project. We should just deal with it now. A little, time in the sun is not going to kill me. Let's just finish the project.
Okay.
At that point, we'll say the guard comes back with 2 bottles of water. It's obviously zone water, but got the electrolytes. Gives one to Maeve, offers one to Jaxper, says, I mean, you seem fine, but like, it's real hot out there.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Jax is going to look at it and just be like, these guys are like up to some shady shit, right? Like, sorry. That's not the point. That's not the point.
That's the school project our friends are working on.
They've got flares.
Ellis in Steve Buscemi, what's up, fellow kids?
I'm sorry. get the thing. He's gonna open it, drink it, and say, sort of just like drink and sort of look at Maeve, like, do you want to keep doing this?
Yeah, thanks so much. It's really, really nice of you to help us out like this with the waters.
Shoot, I mean, what was I gonna do? Leave you out there? Seem like nice kids.
That we are. But if it's not too much trouble, we really would like to try and. I'm feeling so much better now. We really would like to try and maybe set up a chance to talk to someone for that school project we're here for.
I mean, sure. Yeah, well, I mean, look, I know you came all the way. I don't know if it's the safest thing. You said you wanted to talk to. You said you wanted to talk to a maximum security prisoner. I don't know.
Well, we figure the most difficult cases will give us the best view about the rehabilitative power of labor. Because, if those sorts of people, the worst of the worst, there's hope for them. There's hope for anybody, right?
And I was like kind of hoping that we could get some like interesting like interviews, not just with the prisoner, but like with the guards and like what they think about like has this person's behavior changed and stuff like that, because it's obviously in prisoners' best interest to be like, yeah, totally, I'm rehabilitated, let me back out into the world, but like, maybe he's not telling the truth. And so I just think it'd be just interesting to get both sides.
Well, I mean, look, there are some bitches in here, pardon my language. Like, you wouldn't believe half the things some of these people have done. From a, journalistic perspective, I can appreciate the depth of telling both sides that you are doing. But I mean, like, what? Sure. I imagine that is no problem. Believe it or not, we don't get a lot of good press around these parts. And always happy to tell both sides of the story. Do I personally think some of these people can be rehabilitated? No, not all of them.
Jaxper's like got his like notepad out, like,
yeah. And he's like walking a like pacing back and forth and starting to go on a little bit, and says, now, I mean, like, it depends on who you want to talk to. You want to talk to like the worst of the worst? Obviously we can keep both y'all safe. Nothing's going to happen under our watch. But like I said, some of these people, they're in here for some pretty horrific things. Is that what y'all are looking for? Because I'm just gonna warn you right now. Once you look into the eyes of a monster, it changes you.
Elliot's just like that's like, oh man, I believe it. I believe it. But you guys are like giving us a chance to do something that most people don't get to do, is like, I guess, a weird way to put it, but we're seeing a perspective that other people don't get to see, and maybe they should see. So sometimes that's what like journalism is about, man. Like, you gotta sometimes not be afraid to like stare into that abyss.
I got an idea. I got a thought here. Now, I'm gonna In a second, I'm going to leave, and I'm going to bring in a gentleman who's a fairly recent arrival, but I think probably what you're looking for is been a model prisoner ever since he's come here. Does his work every day, doesn't complain, don't raise a fuss, never cause any problems for nobody. That being said, his list of crimes is it's extensive to say the least. That sound like somebody y'all might want to talk to?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, all right. I'll be right back then. Y'all stay put.
Okay.
Of course, won't go anywhere.
Don't wander off now. It's not safe out there.
Oh no,
Right.
no, obviously.
All right. And he leaves.
So out loud, Jax just was like, "Oh man, we're gonna have the best. This is gonna be the best. We're gonna get A+, top of the class." And to Maeve's phone, it's gonna be like, "Watch them bring in somebody who's completely not our guy."
About a minute after the guard leaves, the woman from the front desk comes in with a visitor form. She just asks you both to record your names, first and last names, your age, your reason for visiting, time in, that kind of thing. It's just a data pad, and do you give fake names? Do you give your real names?
Of course, I give a fake name.
Listen, I don't know. I'm just asking the questions here.
All of my names
Alice's
are fake
name.
names.
Yeah, do you give Ellis's name?
I totally give the guy we dropped off on Mars's name.
Rashawn Neville.
Sean Neville's name.
Okay. That's funny. You don't look like a Rashawn, but all right. So
what's a Rashawn look like? I mean, I don't know.
You're too tall.
There you go.
Anyway, thanks. And leaves with the forms. It's like another 15 minutes probably before the guard returns. The first guard returns, and when he does so, he is bringing with him a very, very sweaty man of about, you would guess, Ellis's age. Sort of just as hard-lived in that way where they look a little bit older than they actually are. He is wearing the black uniform of the prison itself. You saw everybody in the work yard wearing the same outfit. It's drenched in sweat. He's still got this pack strapped to his back, and the cuffs that are on his wrist and his ankles, with the cords stretched out. He is not bald, but his hair is shaved very close to his head. You can see it's sort of bristly and gray, sticking out of there. He is clean shaven. He has very sharp features. He is in pretty he's pretty ripped, as you would expect somebody doing time in a labor camp to be. Obviously not well nourished, but very strong from just constant work every single day. He also only has one arm. And the other cuff is missing his right arm, and his right cuff is sort of just around his bicep on that side, and the cord is retracted so that there's no slack. Guard walks him in, follows him in, and he immediately sort of sits down in the chair across the table from the two of you. The guard shuts the door and stands back, crosses his arms, and says, "All right, kids, I want you to meet Simon Riggs. Riggs, you behave yourself now. Answer their questions."
So Jaxper's just gonna try it first off and just extend his hand to shake the guy's hand, which and just be like, really glad to meet you, and see if that gets slapped down. Fully prepared for that to get slapped down.
Yeah, the prisoner like looks at your hand and says, "I don't mean to be rude. I don't think I don't think he would like it very much. I don't think Officer Chambers would like it very much if we were to shake hands."
Oh shit. Yeah. Sorry. Obviously. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I guess at this point, Jaxper is going to start asking some random questions, and I guess Maeve should ask some questions. But what I really want to do is try to I need to find a way to make some kind of physical contact with this guy.
Okay.
So that's what I'm actually doing. What would I roll for that?
Depends on how you want to do it. Like, what do you think your approach is going to be for this?
So honestly, I think, unfortunately, it's not an approach that's.
Oh, I don't mean mechanical approach. I just mean what is Jaxper's plan for accomplishing this? Like, are you going to pretend to drop something under the table and then like try to grab his ankle or like fall?
That's kind of what I was thinking. Or like, honestly, like stretch and like him with my foot or something like that.
Okay.
Something innocuous. I mean, if literally all else fails, then at the end he would just do something dramatic and stupid because he's Jaxper. But
okay.
I think in the beginning it would be just like bent over taking notes while Maeve is interviewing and try to like at some point stretch and tap under the table.
Okay. Then I think it's going to be act quick, which is with Slick.
Cool.
I can't think of a scenario in which you could roll volatile, unless you were just going to tackle him. So,
okay.
That would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious.
All right. Here we go.
Just full on tackle him and then be like, oh, sorry, I thought we were in danger. And I was like ready to take him out. Like,
that's a good roll.
Except I have a 0 for Slick.
It's still a 9.
Is it?
It's a 6 and a 3, isn't it?
Is that a 6? Sorry, I can't actually see it in the
in Roll20?
Yes.
In Roll20. I did. I got a 6. So when in Roll20 I see the 3 and I see the very bottom of the 6, so it looked like a 2. So I thought I got a 5.
I think it's just the line underneath to show that it's not a 9. Even though it's not a die that would be able to have a 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
So, so 9.
9. With a 9, you are able to do it, but you do have to choose one. You are off balance or rushed and have disadvantage going forward. You leave something behind, and I will tell you what, or you are pushed to your limits and suffer 1 stress.
I'm going to take off balance or rushed because Jax is using a technique that he has never used on a non-nanite having person.
That is fair.
And also I think he's like also a little bit like literally off balance at this point because he's like leaned back in his chair. So there's layers.
Makes sense. Okay, cool. So you are able to sort of just like stretch, reach out with your foot. You make eye contact with his ankle. Almost as soon as you do so, he is going to like try to jerk his leg back. But by that point, you have made enough contact that you can attempt to brain spike. Okay,
now that is volatile.
It is, but it is at disadvantage because you are off balance.
Yeah. Okay, and how does disadvantage work again?
3d6, but you take the 2 lowest.
Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here. I keep trying to use the mouse, but that's for the other computer. Oh, okay. So that is 4. That is a. That's a 6.
Ooh, okay.
Unless I. No, I don't have any storm to spend.
Yeah, you just maxed out last session.
I
when you
maxed out
got
last
your
session.
input.
Yeah, I haven't suffered this session.
No, you've
So-
been too chill.
I've been too chill. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to see what happens with a failure, but it just.
Yeah, no, basically with all powered by the apocalypse, it basically just gives me the freedom to like make a move.
Yeah.
So I am gonna do that, but I think what is gonna happen here is basically as you try to reach out and like read this guy's thoughts with your brain spike, the split. Okay. As you reach out to and make contact with his ankle in an attempt to read his thoughts, he jerks his leg back. You have attempted to brain spike him. The way that your brain spike works is you're basically putting nanites into the other person, correct?
Yeah, a little bit. It's basically yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The nanites that you do that with, pretty much immediately you lose contact with them.
Okay.
Like you send your nanites into his body and then immediately lose contact with them.
Okay.
That is what you experience, which is weird. That is not a normal thing that you have experienced before.
Yeah. I think Jaxper's like, oh shit, sorry, dude, and like goes back to taking notes, but is like looks rattled.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the guard like straightens up a little bit. Officer Chambers, as you've learned his name is now, straightens up a little bit at that. He Riggs like puts his hand up when you do that, and it's like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything.
You didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. That was me. That was me. I'm tall and dumb.
Right.
Continues taking notes.
Yeah, Maeve, you're just kind of asking questions. At a certain point, the guard is like, I'm sorry, how much longer is this going to take? The answers, I assume you're just asking Riggs questions about like, his life as a criminal and so he'll tell you like, he'll talk about any of the horrible things that he's done. He says that he does regret a lot of it, not all of it, but definitely a fair amount of it. But he's just at a point in his life where he wants to put it all behind him. He says at one point that more than anything else, he's just tired. And he's going to die here, and he just wants it to be as peaceful as possible.
As they're gonna, a certain point when we're wrapping up, I think Jaxper's just I'm just gonna go for it. Do you just gonna pull up a picture of Grace? Just do you know this woman?
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, he gives he reacts to that. He can't hide a reaction quickly enough. His eyes widen. His jaw clenches. He looks at you, and he says, "Who are you?" Sorry, he doesn't actually. He says, "Who are you?" And the guard immediately is like, the guard looks confused. He doesn't like move to intervene or anything, but he's like, What is this?
Nothing. Nothing. Don't.
Okay. Well, I think we're pretty much done here, right? Y'all are probably
Yeah.
time to get on your way.
Yeah.
He looks a little
Yeah, I think so.
nervous, like maybe he got tricked. He looks like a little worried about it.
Yeah, I guess Maeve is gonna stand up and like direct her next thing to the guard, be like, "Oh my god, thank you so much. Yeah, I think we've got everything we need," and just sort of try to move as if she's going to like go shake his hand to essentially try and give Jaxper an opening to like do something when the guard isn't focused on them. Like one last chance for that brain spike move.
Okay. It is a discharged move,
It
unfortunately.
is a
okay.
discharged move. Yeah, there's
Fair.
no way for me to do that again. I think so. Here's the thing. Can I see if there are any? Does he have a contraband phone or anything like that?
Interesting. Why don't you scout it out?
Sure. Scope it out is
Or scope it out,
calculating,
Yes.
and that is alrighty. Ooh, so that's a 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you can ask a bunch of questions if you want to. I assume the main one is going to be in regards to the like contraband handheld.
Yeah. Does he have really what I want to know is there a way that I can leave him to contact me and make that work? Or is there a way for him to contact me?
Interesting. Interesting. More than more than a phone. Like you reach out to try to see if he has a handheld on him, but you discover he actually has a cybernetic implant. One of his ears, his right ear, we'll say, is essentially fake. It is a cybernetic implant that doubles as a like comms unit, handheld, and probably various other functions too. Although you don't have time to like really deep dive into what it's capable of. But yeah, basically he has a like handheld built into him. It has been deactivated, presumably by the prison. Doesn't mean you can't reactivate it with your nanites.
You know what? Sure. Jaxper's just gonna be like, I think Jaxper's gonna be playing up like, yeah, I had an ulterior motive. I wanted to ask him about this woman. I'm a sullen teen who got what he wanted.
Yeah.
And you know, but not pressing. But I think, yeah, I will open up a one-way connection to his thing and just be like, if you actually want to know, here's my number. And just leave it that way. Leave it there.
You leave him your like contact code, and you shake the guard, you shake Chambers' hands, and he says, "All right, now, Riggs, I think it's about time you get back to work, don't you?" And Riggs says, "Yep, absolutely, officer. I think it's very much time that I return to work." Leads him out. He starts like very docilely going back to his work. Shoots you both a look over his shoulder as he goes. His expression is just sort of like stone faced. You can't really get anything out of it. And then he's gone. And the woman, says on your way out, like, y'all got a ride? How you're getting back to the city, or?
Yeah, we were gonna call a bus, call a thing.
Well, no, all right. Might take them a little while to get, here. Why don't y'all wait, inside so you don't pass out again?
Oh, yeah, that would be so nice of you.
So yeah, you guys can just sort of chill in the waiting room until your ride gets there and then head on out. You don't immediately get contacted or anything like that, Jaxper.
Yeah. And Jax, once they're actually leaving, Jax will tell Maeve what he did.
Well,
Okay.
I guess that's better than what I would have done, which is probably plan a prison break. So, that's good.
Oh, I don't want any more of these first nail motherfuckers out of there. Frankly, I'm really uncomfortable with him having my contact information, but finding Grace is important.
Trying to wrap my head around Maeve planning a prison break.
I don't think it would have it's very like drugs and crayon level of like complexity.
effective.
Like she's not, it's a good thing we don't have to see what a Maeve plan looks like. I mean,
That Maeve prison break was going to go off flawlessly.
Clearly.
Can I got a weird question for you, Maeve. So like I've been reviewing a bunch of stuff from Shervin and from Elliot, and I and I you know how I like how 20 and I were able to heal you, right?
yeah.
And I know you don't necessarily trust me, and I know there's like good reasons for that and all, but would it be okay if I tried to figure out what was wrong still? Because I think I can do that, and maybe I can fix it.
How would you even go about doing that? I thought you guys already checked and you didn't find anything weird.
We checked and we didn't. I didn't find any. So I didn't find any nanites in you. Is what I didn't find. Right? Like you don't have any of my nanites in you anymore. Like I tried. I thought when you passed out there, I was like, oh shit, is she like having a bad reaction to foreign bodies in her system? Are my nanites still in there? And I tried pinging them and I got nothing. So best of my knowledge, you don't have anything of mine in you anymore.
Then what would you even be able to check for? I mean, that's pretty much your whole shtick, isn't it? Like the nanites check for things.
Yeah.
So what, you put more nanites in me? Is that how you're saying you would check?
Yeah. Which is like why I recognize that that's a big ask, and I totally get it if you're saying no, but I figured if there's this fucked up thing that's happening to you and I could help, I should offer and let you say, no, Jaxper, fuck you, rather than just assume, no, Jaxper, fuck you.
Yeah,
right?
I think I'm gonna pass for now. I would prefer not to have you guys go messing around with that again when neither of you even know anything about like medicine. Like, what are you gonna figure out?
Well, I'm absolutely gonna take a storm because of that. Because Jack's be like, so yeah, no, like super legit. I totally understand, and but I don't know a lot about like medicine, but I know a lot that the nanites do, if that makes sense. Like they're medical nanites. They're built to put bodies back together. That's why.
Yeah, and they're the ones who did whatever this is. So if they didn't get it right the first time, what are the chances they're going to get it right the second time?
No, that's totally legit. I super get it, and I'm super understanding and not mad, and so that's
so we're
cool.
done here, right? That's what this is.
Yeah, we're Yeah, we're done. I just wanted you to, like, have the opportunity to say no.
Well, thanks. This is me saying no, so...
That's cool. That's cool.
Oh.
But it wasn't cool.
But it wasn't cool!
Okay. So you have that exchange.
It wasn't cool at all.
Right back.
And lo, it was not cool.
It was the least cool.
He's trying so hard for it to be cool.
It's not. Meanwhile, 20 and Ellis were trying to radicalize some college students.
Hell yeah. Fucking get them worked up.
So what is
and
your...
real life Tayo did some amazing fast photoshopping.
I saw that. I think we can probably throw it up on the stream if you give me a second.
Oh, you can 100% thank Canva for that.
Hey,
There
you
it
still
is.
put the work in.
Keep Zone Corp out of San Antonio. Very good. Yeah. So that's the flyer, clearly. But what is your like overall strategy here? You're just basically passing them out. You're basically telling people that the protest is like planned for tonight, because that's when you were going to the Spyglass, or are you trying to do it at a different time?
Oh, like I want to give them at least a couple of days. Gotta, you gotta pregame for a protest.
Right.
So I don't know mechanically what day of the week it is, but like a couple of days. Because I also want to, leave breadcrumbs for the local ne'er-do-wells. They're like, hey, we should do a hit thing. We should do a fucking... We should hit up this Zone Corp warehouse, right? Yeah. Heard
Let's
security
do
is
a
going to be
trouble.
lax on the night of the 17th.
So the other half of this equation is basically you going to like old haunts, right? Like basically just trying to find people.
I want to find a group of guys that looks like they would do this and then just kind of attempt to inspire.
I like the thought that maybe I guess Ellis has been gone for a long time, but
yeah, it's the idea of like these guys are, ephemeral, but also a constant.
Yeah.
Like there's always a group of like 4 dudes that are just one score away from getting out of it forever.
Yeah.
Like there's always that group in X bar, Alice is just like, man, gambling, right? Or drugs, or whatever other debt problem that you're currently facing.
Things.
Capitalism, am I right? True.
Yeah.
Have you thought about fighting back against capitalism by robbing capitalism?
So true, Betsy. Okay.
So anyway, Zone Cola is a refreshing product with a great taste and 4 kinds of salt.
There are 420 flavors.
It's true. And 69 of them are functional as replacements.
By the way, seems like as good a time as any, Jaxper. The like autonomous dissection you were having 19 do of the zone formula reveals that it is not psychoactive, but it is slightly addictive.
But no more so than coffee or anything like that, like caffeine levels or...
Chemically, it is formulated to be addictive in a way beyond just the way that caffeine is. Like some of the zone formulas are caffeinated, so there's that, but all zones, all the part of the base formula has additional components that make it a little
so
more...
it's addictive in 3 vectors then. It's got sugar and caffeine and secret ingredient X, which probably isn't cinnamon or love.
It's neither of those things.
I am going to have 19. I'm going to have 19 post that on Future Space Reddit. and I am going to send
Add it to the
Ellis,
flyer.
I'm going to send Ellis the Future Space Reddit post. So that
Ellis has no idea what Space Reddit is or how to operate it.
he's going to
But
send
he's highly encouraging.
20 the Future Space Reddit post and be like, yes, this is me, but I just wanted to make our timeline right.
But also putting it on the flyers is a great idea. Like auto
Yes.
updates on the flyers.
Yeah.
I don't like that the logical name is Spread It.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
I
Spread
dodged
it for
that
the
one. Thank you for
cockport.
opening that door. I had a thought. I put it down.
I don't like it.
Mhm.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Ugh. Rage. I'll take Cockport.
Anyway.
Over Spread It. If we have to pick one, let's
Yeah,
fucking.
Cockport can stay. Spread it's got to go.
Oh, but I like Spread It.
No, I know, but no. Okay, cool.
The more we talk about it, the more real it becomes. Quickly, let's move on. Regardless.
So you spend your day digging up the criminal
Rabble-rousing.
Rabble-rousing.
Yes.
You, Maeve and Jaxper. It takes you a little while to get back from the labor camp. Getting on towards evening in old San Antokio, I think. If you're trying to get to a certain whiskey bar, now would probably be the time to do it.
Yeah, because I want to meet... she's a regular at a wine bar, is what you said it is, or is it a whiskey bar?
It's a whiskey bar. The Spyglass.
Okay, so then... Yeah, I'm probably trying to get there at like 6, if not around that time. Again, we're trying to play corporate rules, so he's going to wear his good black pants and
I was going to ask.
less dusty hat.
I was going to say, are you making an effort to look like you belong here, or are you just rolling?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Ellis will attempt to blend into the high-end whiskey bar, at least a little. We're not spending mechanical money on it, but at least
So you're absolutely wearing your newest shirt.
Yeah,
Which
in
is
an effort to help Ellis
which is
blend in.
basically the moo that we got you from
There.
the Ferret Head.
I think he puts it on, and then one of you is like, that's not going to work.
Yeah, well, 20 is spitting and using the spit to clean up Ellis's hair and
You're
comb it
momming the shit
back
out of
and,
Ellis? That's
yeah,
great.
Absolutely.
Good. Okay.
How much nanites is in this spit? Jesus. I already showered yesterday. Ugh.
20s nano.
You don't smell like it.
Only Jaxper.
That's a musk. A man has a scent. Precedes him into a room.
Announces his presence.
Lets the world know that he's not to be fussed with. Or licked. Anyway.
Not wrong. So Ellis, are you going solo to the Spyglass? Or
That's Ellis's plan. Again, as has become the new normal of our group of miscreants, everyone is aware of the plan. Ellis is not keeping anything from Maeve Delaney or anyone else in the crew, but it's not like, Maeve, would you like to go to the questionable high-end whiskey bar where I'm going to potentially interrogate a high-end security officer? No, it's, I'm going to go do this.
I am perfectly happy with Maeve's legacy for this crew being like, no secrets.
Maeve, you should go with him because he will just randomly shoot somebody in that bar if you're not there to stop him because he's that dumb.
Whoa, hey, now. I know how to
Okay.
behave like a proper gentleman. I said I know how. I didn't say I do it often.
Yeah, evidence does not. Also, if it's a high-end wine bar, she's gonna be a lot.
Pants.
It's gonna look a lot better. Like
It's a whiskey bar. It's a whiskey bar.
it's a whiskey bar.
It's a whiskey bar. I at least look partially in line.
All right, I'm just whatever. Do what you want. Do what you fucking want. Do what you want.
Well, I mean,
don't care.
hey, if one of y'all wants to come with me as a date, I'm not against it.
Paper about
Listen.
the state of the San Antonio justice system.
Did y'all join the community college to affect your...
I absolutely forged credentials.
It's kind of a dig, assuming it's the community college.
No, that's my... I thought I had heard that was their...
I think
this is
Jaxper
Dan
was thinking more like grad school.
okay. I thought I had heard someone say
We never said. We just said school.
We just said school.
We were incredibly vague.
That's good. That's smart.
Yeah. So,
School from
Jaxper
Y
is now
location.
like off in a corner, sullenly scribbling on a piece of scrap paper, or like.
Well, if anyone would like to join me in order to make this costume more effective by providing me a date, 20, Maeve, who wants a glass of whiskey? Jax, once you're done your homework, presumably.
20 is probably the only one who's actually been trained to like blend in high society because you were.
It's true.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maeve, it never goes
and he
anywhere.
cleans up well.
That's true. This would be as alarming to Maeve potentially as anything else. It'd be like, hey, this is a high-end whiskey saloon, like, yeah, on Earth.
I have data to sequence.
Why did you say that so shitty? Like someone gave you a chore. There's no wheel on the fridge. Like I didn't. You didn't draw data sequence.
I am tired, and I am a shitty person. How long have you been traveling with me? Leave me alone.
It's so much angst in there. Like I told you, you had to sequence your data before you cleaned your room. That's your shit, man. I don't.
I'm trying to get you to leave me alone, but you're still here.
I can't. The room is 8 feet wide, Jax. Where do you want me to go? I'm going to the whiskey bar. Fuck. Anyway, 20. You want to go? Let's go get a drink.
Yeah, just don't expect me to put out on the first date.
Was that a joke? Holy shit! Hi, how are you?
So, Karis, are you getting dressed up?
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna make me look like Ed Sheeran to your Beyonce?
Yes.
All right. You, Karis, you are dressed in like passing finery. You help Ellis get his shit straight so that he can pass without arousing suspicion instantly. You force him to bathe, and
missed him aggressively.
Missed him.
Breeze.
And then you set out for the Riverwalk of San Antonio. Like previously established, at this time of night especially, it is probably the most beautiful place in the entire city. The San Antonio River is fairly narrow here. There are bridges periodically that like cross from one side of the walk to the other side of the walk that makes it pretty convenient to, no matter which side that your destination is on. They're like wooden bridges. They have the like sort of Shinto gateway on either side. There are cherry blossom trees that always seem to be healthy and in bloom no matter what season it is. Not that the weather changes significantly in San Antonio throughout the year. There are like, garlands of paper lanterns all over the place, sort of stretched across. The light, reflects off of the river itself. It's very beautiful. You can hear snatches of conversation and music and chatter and things like that as you walk through. People of all different, walks of life and levels of wealth, essentially. You don't really arouse any suspicious glances or anything like that. Nobody really seems to pay either of you much mind. And after a little while, you reach a particularly upscale stretch of the Riverwalk, and you find yourself in front of the spyglass. There is, little to denote its status other than the fact that there is a doorman. There are large windows on either side of the door that allow you to sort of see in that the inside of the bar is very, very dark. It is not a well-lit establishment whatsoever, clearly kind of evoking a speakeasy vibe. The door.
This is to my advantage. I'm dressed poorly.
You're dressed less poorly now than you would have been if you came by yourself.
Fair enough.
The doorman kind of stops you both on your way in, asks to see your identification.
I'm definitely like on Ellis's arm.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Fair enough.
We were attending as a couple. Yes.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Cool. Yeah, the doorman like looks you both up and down.
Ellis is also open carrying. Just to let you know.
I mean,
This is presumably acceptable in but
it is Texas. Okay, so the doorman looks you both up and down. Asks, "You two meeting someone?"
Well, I mean, a nice glass of something about 70 years old and amber brown, but that's what you mean.
All right.
With the whiskey, we're meeting whiskey and stuff.
He chuckles slightly in a very, very fake way and says, "Have a nice night," and steps to the side so you can both enter. You step in, and yeah, it is just as dimly lit on the inside as it looked from the outside. People, as you like pass them at their tables, it's hard to make out specific features. Everybody is sort of like just shadowy. It's hard to get a good look at anyone. There is piano music playing. And what do? There's a bar, there are tables. You can sort of smell food cooking, grilled meat probably. And then the smell of whiskey just sort of pervades the entire establishment. What would you like to do?
All right. Well, yeah, I guess we're going to take a lap and look to see if anyone who would be obviously regular Kaori is here.
You do
we are coming up on ending time, I think, for a couple of us as well, by the way. If we want to try and find a...
Fair enough. Do not have the chat open. Yeah,
story node.
All right, no problem. Makes sense. So I'll say this. You do a couple rounds. You know what Kaori looks like. She has sort of like close cropped black hair, a scar along one side of her head. She's very noticeable, and you don't spot her in your initial round around the bar. There is a bartender up at the front wearing like a collared shirt, suspenders, the whole 9 yards. Obviously that would be the practical starting point if you were looking for somebody else.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. Is that like we're not trying to immediately approach her, but I'm also not trying to sit around and drink for an hour until she's ready to leave. So it's the whole like sidle up close enough that we can engage in conversation long enough to ambulate in, because she's hopefully potentially alone or with a small crew and not a huge number of people.
Yeah, the bartender shrugs and says, "Zumi, yeah, I mean she's in here all the time. Hard to forget someone like that."
Oh yeah, leave quite an impression, huh?
I mean, I've never met anybody who hates Takamagahara that much. Like the number of fights she's started, the number of times she's gotten thrown out, but the money spends, so I just pour the drinks.
I didn't know that she was quite that volatile character. So that's good to know before I strike up a conversation.
From the door from behind you, Ellis, you then hear a woman's voice say, you hear, first of all, you hear the music stop, just cold, and then you look around.
Was there a band playing, or was it like?
It was a live pianist. Yeah, it was somebody playing the piano. Okay. You hear the music stop, cold, and you look around and you see the reason why. There is a person standing in the doorway. you recognize this individual as Kaori Izumi immediately. And she has a gun in her hand, just sort of like casually at her side, and says, maybe we can have that conversation now, and you can explain to me who the fuck you are and why you're asking about me. And we'll call it there for the night, shall we? Okay. Seems like a good stopping point, so we'll pick it up in a little bit of time. We're not playing in 2 weeks. That's a holiday of some sort. I don't know which one. But we are definitely not playing in 2 weeks, so we're going to be on a little bit of a longer break for the holidays. People are traveling, spending time with family. So if I am not mistaken, in theory, we should be picking up on January 9th, hopefully. We'll touch base on that, but for now we're going to aim for January 9th. Thank you so much if you have been watching tonight, if you hung out with us, chatted with us, if you followed, if you donated, and yeah, if you like what you see here, you can follow us on Twitter if you want to know when we're going live, what our schedule is, and what we're up to. Our Twitter is at Live from the APOC, APOC, because Apocalypse doesn't fit. Otherwise, you can join the Discord server. We have a great community. We have a lot of fun. It's mostly memes, but there are a lot of people in there talking about stuff, talking about games, talking about anime, talking about all kinds of bullshit. And for the next 2 Monday nights, starting tomorrow and then the following Monday, we are watching the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings movies as a community night because it's the 20th anniversary. It's a lot of fun. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, feel free to hop in there. We also update with scheduling and announce when we go live and stuff like that. So, yeah, all that being said, I'm just going to do a quick check and see if like anyone we know is online that we can raid. But pretty late. I am not hopeful. Yeah, it looks like everybody's offline. Okay, that's totally fine. So we're just going to call it a night. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we will see you in 4 weeks, I guess. See you in a month, more or less. Have a good one, and thank you so much.